Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Boy Detectives Presents. I'm Anthony Zonfarelli.
Hold on.
What's this?
Where's your costume?
You're making me do this?
I'm going to make you do it. This is a real knife. There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
This is ideal for navigating a computer screen, which is what I have to do with this draft. As I mentioned before, I'm Anthony Zonfarelli.
And I'm Will Van Antwerp. Welcome to the Boy Detectives. This week we're drafting Halloween costumes.
That's right.
I love what you got going on.
Excuse me, Boy Detectives. We do have a video I'd like to show before we get started.
You do?
Yeah,
Okay.
a video was sent in.
All right, go ahead.
Hi, it's me, Anthony, from the Boy Detectives. Now, in the past, when our guests have won, they've sent in videos gloating about their victories, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to act like I've been there before. Because I have 3 times. That's right. Tied for first in the Disney villain draft. Then I win the cereal mascot draft. Now I win the Nickelodeon draft. Let's go. Sorry, I've just been a little sore. Carrying this whole show on my back. Step up, Will.
You didn't need to do a video. We have the whole show is on. You just said that on camera.
I couldn't help myself. Will, this makes 3 victories for me and currently 0 for you. You need to step it up, is all I'm saying.
I don't think the goal of the show was necessarily for us to win, but
this is a competitive show.
It's to have a good time, entertain the audience, and quite frankly, I think it's better if the guests win.
Got it. Okay, you're so selfless, Will. Something a lot of losers say.
Yeah, I don't know. I just funny thing about me, there are things bigger than winning and losing in this world. So with that in mind, we got a spooky Halloween cat. Oh no, a black cat has crossed our path. That's how you know it's the Halloween episode. And with that, let's bring in our guest today. Anthony, you want to introduce him?
Sure. We have 2 very special guests for the Halloween draft. Please give it up for Ben Scaria and Colleen Donahue.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Of course. Welcome.
Cheers.
Welcome. So Ben, let's start with you. What does Halloween mean to you? How do you go hard for Halloween? Do you
not as hard as I used to. I sort of feel like Halloween is like back when I was performing all the time, I was like, Halloween's what I do all the other days of the year. I'm just going to sit at home. But I really loved watching people come to the house. I love giving out candy. I love seeing all the crazy costumes. So for me, I've transitioned mostly from dressing up unless I go to a party to really appreciating the costumes that come my way.
Great. And do you have any favorite costumes you've been?
Yeah, I mean, so I was a couple of good costumes growing up that I really enjoyed. I was a scarecrow once, and I know that's a lot of people have been a scarecrow, but this was a pretty realistic scarecrow. I wore like a bodysuit under clothing, which allowed straw to pop out everywhere. I was able to sort of stuff the whole suit, and I had a stuffed crow.
Nice.
And it was pretty dope. And that's probably the most I've ever tried.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, Colleen, what's your experience been with Halloween of late? You into it?
I am into it. Very much. I'm most myself when I'm not myself, if that makes sense. I very much love dressing up as different Amanda Bynes characters. I wasn't one last year. I don't know what happened to me last year, but this year I was hoping to bring it back. But of course, this dang old quarantine has gotten in the way. So I don't know what's going to happen this year.
She can be online.
She can be online. I'll host the party.
Yeah.
Online? I hope not. Do you have a favorite costume that you dressed up as in the past?
Yeah. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Amanda Bynes show. Yeah, when her number 1 fan, Penelope Taint, Amanda's number 1 fan, please. I wish I had a picture ready with it, but yeah.
Oh Matt, why don't you bring up my? Oh wait, I guess there you go. Let's bring it up. This one?
That was me. Yep, and I have to say I looked exactly like her. If you want to go to my Instagram, everyone, CODonahue25, you'll see her. Just scroll back a couple of years. I only have like 30 pictures.
Did you say her last name? Did you say her last name was Taint?
Sure is.
That's early humor.
Yeah.
Getting it in past the censor.
That was an 11-year-old girl playing that. So.
Wow.
I see my mom in the chat saying that I should mention the time I went as a Go-Go Power Ranger. But I'll actually mention the time that I dressed up as like a Poindexter, total nerd with the suspenders and like the single strip of hair going up and the glasses broken in the middle. And I went to a guy's house and he goes, "What are you dressed as?" And I said, "A nerd." And he goes, "Yeah, but what do you?" Or he goes, "What are you?" And I said, "A nerd." And he goes, "What are you dressed as?"
Oh man,
crushed
me. I was like, "Oh, it's like, dude, what's your problem?"
What color Power Ranger were you?
I don't know. Maybe my mom won't remember.
I dressed up. I dressed up as Drew Bledsoe for a number of years, and then one year I was Batman, and we got to trick or treat at Drew Bledsoe's house, and he called me fat.
What? Who did?
Drew Bledsoe.
What?
You guys
he
made a mistake,
implied.
Brady.
I was gonna
He
say, did he call you
implied-
fat, or was he like Batman? That's a little chunky for
No.
Batman.
No, like we went. So like my brother and I went. My brother was Barney, I believe, and I was Batman. We walk up, trick or treat. Oh my God, it's Drew Bledsoe. He's huge, and he's holding the candy. He looks at my brother and goes, "All right, you look like you want a piece of candy." He looked at me and goes, "You look like you might want two." And he gave me 2 freaking pieces of candy.
It's nice that you were next to a dinosaur and you didn't assume the dinosaur wanted more candy.
Yeah. Yeah. Just a martial arts expert with a lot of money. No, just a fat little boy.
Of course, it's Barney the dinosaur. I will say that whole time I'm picturing your brother as Barney Rubble from the Flintstones. I don't know why. That's the Barney that I went to. And then the second Colleen said that, I was like, of course it's
Yeah.
the dinosaur.
Yes, sorry. He was
No,
the
you don't
purple
need to-
dinosaur.
It was Barney Miller.
He was a
But it's
4-year-old.
Cindy.
It was Barney from How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah, Barney Stinson. My brother went ahead of the times.
All right. Well, this was great banter. Anthony, let's
Sure. Matt, could you throw up my screen here? All right. So we have our team names and we have our coaches here. Will, would you like to introduce your team?
sure, yeah. So we're NFL, and do you have a picture up, or are we doing that later?
Matt, you can throw them all up now if you can. If not, there they are.
There we go. So there's me all the way on the far right. I went as an old man version of myself. And I just think in the future, I'm going to be a lot wiser, and I'm going to have lived experiences that will really help guide my team to victory. You know, if you've been there before.
That's good. That's good. I like that. My team is Jack-O-Lantern, a play on Dallas Cowboys QB Dak Prescott. May his ankle rest in peace. And my coaches are Pete Davidson and Ariana Grande, two relative newcomers on the scene. They've had their differences, but I think they work well together. And I'm going to trust them to lead my team to victory. Ben, your team?
My team is Dead Zone. It's a play on Red Zone, which is the most exciting part of the NFL. And hopefully it will also be the most exciting part of this draft. My coaches are Mario and Princess Peach. I think that's going to be helpful. Mario knows what it's like to be a team player. He's had to work with his brother quite a bit. He also understands that the job is never done. There's always another castle. And Princess Peach is all about special teams, moving around a lot, trying not to get captured, staying loose. So I think it's going to be a really winning combination.
Great. And Colleen?
My team is the Miles Sanderson sisters. I don't really know what it means. Anthony made it up for me. And my coach is Viola/Sebastian Davis from She's the Man. Viola knows how to, she plays soccer, so she knows how to, play sports. She's a sporty gal, and she knows how to infiltrate the other side. She gets onto the boys' team without anyone knowing, and she's always dressed for the after-game press conference. So,
excellent.
Professional. Oh, yeah, I'd like to jump in really quick. I was missing half of my coaching staff. It is a couple's costume, as you can see. My beautiful girlfriend, Lauren Rose, is in the picture as well. She's going to be the offensive line coach.
Excellent. And I've also been reminded in the chat that I forgot to mention Piggy Smalls, the small stuffed pig we got to represent Pete Davis and Ariana Grande's pig. He will be providing the animal instincts necessary to win on the football field.
Animal coach.
And without further ado, I say we figure out our draft order here. I have a 100-yard dash ready to go.
Yeah.
And you will see your name sprinting across. Cheer accordingly.
Laura does look like a silver fox.
I really hope I'm not first.
If I'm
Let's
first,
go.
then this is not a realistic run.
I don't. Colleen, I don't know.
Colleen doesn't really start. Oh, here we go.
Go down. Thank God.
Who's up top?
That's
That's
Will.
me.
Oh, it's me. No.
Okay.
Oh,
Ben,
man.
Wow.
myself, Colleen, and Will.
Jeez,
Wow.
Bringing up the rear.
Great race, everybody. Now I'd like to I'd like to remind everyone of what we're drafting here. We're drafting teams. We will each have one quarterback, one running back, one wide receiver, one tight end, one kicker, and one defense. At the end of this draft, we can choose them in whatever order we'd like. Ben, you with the first overall pick of the Halloween costumes draft. Let her rip.
Oh man. So I just want to talk really quickly about my thinking. I did not go into this as at first I was thinking like ranking Halloween, but that doesn't work. That's not the way a draft works. You need to think about what position you want, how it works, how it fills out your team. And that's not just what the costume is, but sort of what the costume means and who would wear that costume and what they would become. And with all that in mind, it's my long roundabout way of saying that my first pick is going to be maybe a strange one, but I think it's a good one. It's going to be Tigger as a running back.
Okay.
I think Tigger is unpredictable. He's all over the place, boundless energy. That goes for anybody who is dressed whether it's painted on or whether it's actually a fursuit. Either way, yeah, there you go. That's a fierce thing coming at you, and yet it's bouncing all over the place. It's going to be able to leap off defenders, and it's going to have energy to last you the entire game. Tigger is my running back.
That's a great pick.
All right. Do you think there's negative points in that it looks a lot like the Bengals jersey? A historically bad team.
A historically bad team who is on the rise, though. I think it's getting in on the ground floor. He's going to be Joe Burrow's favorite player.
That's fair. And that transitions very nicely into my pick. I think I'm going to draft who I view as the Joe Burrow of this draft. A very similar outfit, a relative newcomer to the scene, but I think an instant classic, someone who's going to be around for years to come. As my quarterback, I will be drafting David S. Pumpkins.
David S.
Any questions?
Who is David S. Pumpkins?
He's the Tom Hanks guy from Saturday Night Live.
All right.
Oh, God.
Here we go. Yeah. Okay. You got him up. So here's my concern.
Okay.
You worried at all about having a player in a full suit?
No, not one bit. He brings a layer of professionalism, which I like in a quarterback. He's going to keep order on the field.
Does he get those two guys as his
blockers?
Yeah.
What do you think? They're part of it.
Yep. They literally say that. That's a good pick.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Thank you. I think it's just like he's got bouncers. I drafted a quarterback who comes with two guards.
I mean, he looks good, and that's really what a quarterback's the face of your team.
Right.
Broadway Joe, right? David S. Pumpkins. I like it.
Thank you. All right, Colleen.
Sticking with the theme of pumpkins, for my running back, I'm going to choose a baby pumpkin.
Baby pumpkin.
A baby pumpkin, yes.
Cool.
If you hand a baby in a pumpkin suit a football, they're going to be slow, but they're going to be steady and they're going to be reliable. And most importantly, they're going to get a touchdown every time because not one person is going to tackle a baby pumpkin.
I want to see that run. Yeah.
They will slow motion tackle like this, but they'll miss every time on purpose.
Wow,
Guaranteed
really
touchdown.
Tugging on the heartstrings of your opponent's defense. That's
exactly.
A level of trickery that's is unprecedented in this draft.
It's brilliant. That's Belichick-esque.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
I guess that brings it to me, and I will round out the first round with kind of a classic costume, a little bit cartoonish, and certainly a part of almost every Halloween episode of a sitcom. And that's going to be the two-person horse costume at wide receiver.
Okay.
Wow.
So it's already a costume that implies a lot of speed. Now, it can be a little bit awkward to execute, but if you have two guys or ladies who are really in sync with one another, then I think you can really move quickly. The key for me, though, is that they can divert, right? What's better than one wide receiver? That's two elite wide receivers. You're running one route, you both break off to opposite sides. How's the defense going to defend that?
My only question is they can either run or they can catch the ball. They cannot do both. They only have one set of hoof legs each. That's my only thing. Otherwise, I think it's a good pick, but that's going to be interesting.
If they break apart, then that frees up both of their hands.
Not the first one.
Wait, do you think the first person is walking on their hands in the costume?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and also when
No,
and
then
their head is in the horse thing.
Can you go back to the
they're not wheelbarrowing, they're both on their legs and the back person is just bent over.
Even so when they
right.
split, look where his arms are. Are you gonna cut holes in your costume? No, you have to respect the Halloween costume draft.
You do have to respect it.
All right,
So
well then
you draft a wide receiver who can only catch if you split the costume in half.
Okay, but here's the thing. The first half is a decoy on every route. He's the decoy.
Okay, that's fair.
And you got the back half running the underneath and mid round.
He's the decoy on the first one. Everyone else will figure it out the second time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, look.
So you have one good
play with
play.
that guy.
One play.
You can catch with the mouth.
Just airbutt it. Okay. All right. Well, you're on the clock again.
All right, that rounds out the first round. And before we get to the second round, let's do a little bit classic part of our show. A little bit of a can check.
Can check.
What are we doing?
All right. The last I've been rocking these shipyards, and everyone keeps making fun of me because they have nothing to do with the draft. But now it's Halloween week, and I can't think of a better drink to have than a Treehouse Haze. Brought to me by Will.
Nice.
What a fancy, high quality beer delivered to you by a close friend.
That's right.
Colleen, what do you got?
I have a Health Aid kombucha. I didn't want anything much stronger than that because I want to stay sharp for the draft.
Smart. Probably why I haven't been voted best team yet.
Yeah.
Hit us, Ben.
I'm staying on brand, and I have a CBD cider, a hopped apple CBD cider by Otto. It's great.
Every time we talk, I learn about a new thing that exists.
Yeah.
You can get it any.
Okay, and I've got Treehouse Super Sap because, as Anthony alluded to, I made a Treehouse run yesterday because I took the week off from work and I got the time to do it. All right, so let's start the second round.
It was right there.
Yeah.
And
all right, well,
I got my first wide receiver taken. And I am going to go for maybe a little bit of a controversial pick. My running back, I am going to take Green Man. Green Man. Let's bring up my screen.
I was wondering if anybody was going to take Green Man.
So Green Man is
Okay.
a relative newcomer, certainly no newer than David S. Pumpkins, so we got to allow it. And I feel like every Halloween party I've been to for the last decade has had one asshole dressed in this sleek bodysuit. And
No one likes
finally,
Green Man.
no one likes Green Man. It shows off their package way too much. They clearly are sweating through it. I don't understand how they drink at the party. But they're much better suited for the football field than they are for these parties. Because where are you going to tackle? This is a slippery human being.
That's fair. That's a good pick.
Nothing to grab onto. You're sliding off them, and then guess what? They camouflage perfectly into the ground. So good luck, defenses. I guess the worst Green Man skill position combo.
I like it.
You got lots of agreement. You got lots of agreement in the chat that Green Man is definitely an asshole costume.
And I know that because I went as Green Man one year.
No.
Yeah.
Checks out.
Okay. Colleen.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
it's my
right,
turn.
back. Yes, Colleen.
Sorry, hang on. I don't know where everyone went. I can't see everyone. Okay, I'll just speak.
Yeah, we can see you. We can see you.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna draft my kicker, and it's gonna be Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. Now my thinking with this is she's all about the shoes. Her whole costume is basically the shoes. No one really cares what's up top. It's all about the footwear and it's all about the footwork. All she wants to do is go home. If you tell her to kick a 100-yard field goal, you're winning the game and you're out of there.
Great pick.
100-yard field goal.
Damn, that's really good.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right.
She's into foot tapping and foot kicking. She knows how to do it.
Those shoes are fucking magic. That's exactly what you want kicking your field goals.
Exactly.
Strong
I
tootsies.
wish I could see everyone.
That's right. Your drive stalls out at your own 17. Got to kick that field goal.
You got it.
Total sidebar, but one time I went to a podiatrist and he was like, "All right, what tootsie is it?" And I was like, "That's the worst way you could have started this interaction."
Did you just leave? That guy wasn't the doctor.
Yeah, it's like,
you like these too much.
yeah.
Which tootsie is it?
For Gio,
right?
Were his tootsies out?
Yeah, we touched tootsie.
Man. No, that's all fine. I'm a little shook because I think that that Dorothy pick just stole one of my defense picks, which was
The Castle of Wizard of Oz.
entirety of Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Um,
I almost thought about
Let's
doing
see, I
defenses
will be-
early because of this, actually.
Yeah.
yeah. Now I'm a little afraid. Now I'm like, who should I?
I have like 10 defense
All right.
picks.
Me too. So many defense.
All right. I hope you don't take mine because I have like 2 more. So I think I'm gonna follow suit with the asshole costumes. And as my wide receiver, I'm going to take the chick magnet.
Oh, gross.
This is the costume that appears every time you Google Halloween costumes, and it is the dumbest thing in the world. But here's the thing: I think the only people that dress up as this are wide receivers. I think there's a possible benefit if the magnet actually works.
Works on leather. Pigskin.
If it works on leather, let's see. I mean, it could be. Honestly, I believe it's probably Velcro, which could help. And if it doesn't, then you know what? I'm willing to waste a pick for an asshole costume.
There's a couple somewhere in Scottsdale who ASU at a frat party where that guy was wearing that outfit, and she thought it was hilarious. Like, I just have seen their life in an instant, you know?
Yeah.
And it was terrible.
My God.
A chick magnet.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. Oh man, fantastic.
Okay.
I am up. Now I'm thinking, like, do I reach and pick a defense while they're available if one person can knock it out? But I'm not going to do that. I like my 2 picks that I have back to back here too much. For quarterback, you actually saw them in the scroll at the beginning going through at Comic-Con or whatever that was. My quarterback is going to be the Dread Pirate Rock / Wesley from Princess Bride. And here is my thought. Pirate is cavalier. A pirate is a showman. It's mysterious. He's got a rapier if he needs. It's obviously not a real sword, but it is something that he could hold a defense back with while he was able to throw with his other hand. And somebody who's dressed as that is going to be at least able to pretend to be Wesley. They're going to be able to roll and move. I mean, if you've seen the movie, he's not actual Wesley, but actual Wesley, he climbs up an entire cliff on a rope. He's got gun. I mean, I've never seen him throw a football, but I bet he could. And I'm going to bank on the fact that he could. So Pirate / Dread Pirate Roberts as my quarterback. And
good. You also know he's a very obedient player. He does whatever your coach wants him to do, as you wish.
Yeah. He never calls his own audibles.
Right.
It's just exactly what I've called. And then for wide receiver, I'm going maybe a little bit out of the box, but I'm using the idea of using the whole thing. I'm going for a 1950s drive-in or sock hop waitress as my wide receiver because they are on skates.
Wow. Okay.
They are on skates. They are used to moving quickly with quite a bit of food. And again, while it's not the person, I would assume anybody doing that costume at least knows how to be on skates and isn't going to do that. So just the skates themselves get it going there for me. And then they're a waitress, they're a server, they're hardworking, they hustle all day. And to me, that's a good pick for wide receiver.
How do you
That's
think
solid.
the skates are going to do on say turf or even real grass?
Yeah, I think they'll actually do better on turf. Probably turf. Some people say it's like concrete, so there's not a ton of give on turf. But on real grass, it might be an issue. Luckily, a lot of stadiums are moving to more and more turf.
Right. And you just have to hope it's not inclement weather at that point.
Exactly.
Right. Dome game. I don't know if Dead Zone plays their games at a dome, but if so, that's a huge advantage.
Absolutely. The Dead Zone is a giant. It's the Tomb. We play in the Tomb.
Okay. Okay.
The Tomb. Yeah.
Okay. See, so I'm up next. I'm gonna go with a running back here, and I'm going to take Waldo as a running back.
No,
Where is Waldo? I think it's a solid pick, mostly because you got to find him to tackle him, and if you can't do that, guess what? You'll find him in the end zone.
You're just gonna have to make sure that the rest of you're like, hey, everybody else on the field, could you dress like this guy?
Yeah, right. My tight end is just gonna be like 4,000 other Waldos.
I like that pick.
Thank you. Okay, Colleen.
All right. I'm going to pick my wide receiver, and I'm going to go with the Minions.
Ooh.
There's a million of them.
Or a minion.
No, the Minions. There's a million of them. They're zany. You don't know what they're saying. You can just throw it, and something will happen, but they'll catch the ball, and they'll get to the end zone. And there'll probably be a few laughs along the way.
I could see a play where the football bounces off 30 of their heads before landing in one of their hands in the end zone.
That's exactly what I'm landing probably in Kevin's hands in the end zone.
Right.
And then he eats it.
Yeah.
And spits it out because it's not a banana. All right. Will, you're up.
Oh, am I? Well, I can't believe it's made it this far, so I'm going to pull the trigger on my number one tight end on the board, which is going to be the inflatable T-Rex costume that is taken over Halloween these last half decade or so. Most of all because I think they give you a distinct height advantage. I don't know if you can follow my mouse. This is where your head is. So then you got another 2 to 3 feet of clearance on top. And then, secondly, how are you going to tackle someone if you're just bouncing off them all the time? There is actually a tiny motor in this thing that's inflating it at all times. It's like a sumo suit. You have a layer of cushioning that people can bounce off of.
Not great arms.
Yeah, I was going to say your catch radius is maybe 20% what it could be.
You have normal human length arms that do look small, but you're able to catch it.
Take your word for it.
Listen, I'm thinking about other characteristics than catching with my wide receivers, clearly.
That's true. You've selected 2 pass catchers, none of which have normal length arms.
Will's team is a running-based team.
Yeah. The Kevin Stefanski offense. Okay.
Right.
Will, you're on the turn.
Okay. I am going to pull the trigger on my kicker. And it's going to be classic. It's going to be simple. It's going to be a clown because they got big shoes.
Fuck.
Clown costume. I don't care if you make it creepy, not creepy. There's a million variations of the clown. The most important thing is that these big cartoonish shoes that when you go to kick the ball, I have to imagine will add 10 to 15 yards of distance to an average person's kick.
That's a good pick, and it takes. They weren't my number one, but it takes Clown Car off the defense for me.
Yeah, I was gonna
it
do
knocks
that
them
too.
off the board. So,
Ooh,
Yeah,
man, it also takes Pennywise off of mine.
good. I mean, they're not just big shoes; they also are like loaded in the front, so you know they're going to pack a punch behind it. Look at that! Are those steel-toed clown shoes?
Yeah. Okay. All right, Colleen, you're up again.
Well, clowns is gone.
changes everything.
It's ruined my whole game. I wouldn't use minions for defense if I knew clowns was gonna get taken. I guess I'll pick my quarterback. I'm gonna go Woody, the cowboy from Toy Story.
Nice.
Okay.
Cowboy was definitely on my list for quarterback.
Yeah, he's reliable. He has a plan. He knows how to execute it. He knows how to round up the gang, and he just knows how to get shit done.
It's
He
a
has
great
4
pick.
movies, and he's the main
Right.
character in all of them.
That's a great point.
It's a face of a franchise.
That's right. That's right. We keep
Yeah,
coming back
exactly.
to it. Okay.
Mm.
I think I'm gonna have to take my kicker.
Hold on. Do you see in the chat someone just said it's a tough time to pick a cowboy as your QB?
That is a very good real
I
football
know.
reference.
I do not get that.
Both of the Cowboys' starting quarterbacks have been knocked out this season with injuries.
Oh, nice. Okay. Sorry to hear that.
Okay, I think I'm gonna take my kicker because I'm running out of options here, and this is the last option I have. This is the dumbest option I have. I think you have to go with Bigfoot, but specifically Bigfoot.
No.
Oh, come on!
I think
It's not that dumb. But no, it's even dumber.
Yeah. I think I don't know. Do I have to justify it? It's just a huge fucking foot.
Yeah. justify it.
Yeah. I think. I mean, what foot do you know can get a running start?
Oh.
Yeah, that's all I got.
That's all you got.
Ooh.
That's all I got. It's just a big ass foot. Yeah. Okay, Ben.
All right, save it then.
Great. Yeah. Let's go with a tight end. This is a classic. It's exactly what you want from a tight end. I'm going the gorilla costume as my tight end. Not
good,
much
that's
to
good.
say about that, right? Big, burly, can block, also has hands, good hands, and will, look at that. Scary coming at you, padding. And, I think it's a great pick. That's going to be my tight end. Classic,
good,
reliable,
that's good.
dependable.
I like it.
You throw bananas and have people slip at it, chasing them around.
Yeah, the merchandising options are just limitless. If you had a gorilla on your team, everybody loves gorillas, and so trust me on that one. It's like, and now I'm gonna go. I think my kicker will be there at the end, so I'm gonna take a defense here. And oh man, it's between 2 defenses, and I think I'm gonna pull the trigger. My defense is gonna be the Warriors.
Oh God.
It's a group outfit, street gang from the 1970s, early 80s. Very tough gang. They work together very well. They know each other very well. Any crew that rocks that as a group outfit is going to know their stuff. Plus, anybody who goes in a leather vest is insane, right? Already. And so, yeah, look at them. They're my defense is 9 people deep. Really, just missing a couple folks. And I think they're going to be a formidable defense. They're going to crush that baby pumpkin. They're not going to care about a baby. Unfortunately.
Can you bring up my screen? I think I have a better picture of the Warriors. There we go. This is what you're talking about, right?
That's right. Just an athletic group.
Man, how has nobody? If I had time to search, somebody's got to have been those guys wearing the vests, right?
That's right. Yeah, and just be the Golden State Warriors.
Just be the Warriors. Yeah,
the Warriors. And really quickly, Ariel, is that a Harambe joke in the year 2020? Going back to your gorilla.
Wow.
All right. Well, anyways, great pick, man.
I think so. Here's the thing. I also have a gang as my defense.
Nice.
Mine is only 5 deep. However, my defense is going to be the Scooby-Doo gang.
I knew you were going to say that.
I think they're good at teaming up and also knowing when to split up. They work well together. I think Scooby will get too high and just fucking eat your baby pumpkin by accident.
Accident.
Yeah, I think you just can't go wrong. Yeah, accident.
Hey, stop ganging up on the poor baby pumpkin, okay?
It's the only way to stop your formidable running game.
That's right.
Everything flows through the baby pumpkin. No matter defense, there's how to defend that.
Yeah, all week we've been told baby pumpkin is the focus.
Apparently, you don't even really need a defense to defend my horse costume. So, the baby pumpkin. All right. So with that in mind, Colleen, what's your 5th round pick?
I'm going to go for another well-known gang for my defense. I'm going to go with the Pink Ladies from Glee.
Oh,
I'm not Glee, Grease. Jesus.
I was like, did Glee do a Grease episode?
They did, but I don't want them.
That'd be the power movie. Like, I want the fake pink ladies.
Yeah, no, I want from Grease. They're a badass group of ladies, and if Riz sets her mind to something, she can accomplish anything. Really, I really just want Riz. Sandy kind of sucks, and the other 2 I don't really know about, but basically as a whole, they're gonna get it done because Riz is gonna be at the helm.
Nice. I like that. All right, Will, your last 2 picks.
To address the chat, I have to imagine it's the Scooby-Doo gang without Scrappy-Doo, right? We're not adding late characters.
Yeah, well, I mean, we don't want. He's a distraction in the locker room, quite honestly.
Okay.
G5.
All right, so gotta take my quarterback. I am absolutely flabbergasted that this player, the number 1 quarterback on my board, has not been taken. And that is going to be Devil Costume. An absolute classic. There are a few things I was looking for in a quarterback. One of them is free range of motion in the costume, right? So luckily,
because you weren't thinking about it at wide receiver.
Well, you got to have your priorities here. I'll let the wide receivers in the horse costume worry about catching it so long as the Devil's able to get it out. So he's got a free arm. The costume is really just the horns. And more importantly, he's got the trident to ward off defenders. You try and rush him, he's going to hold you at a trident.
It's the same pirate thing. Yeah, it's the same idea. I like it.
Left hand trident. Quite frankly, I think they should introduce it to the real NFL. Defensive lines have gotten too good.
You get a weapon in your mouth.
Exactly. Yeah, you just get a long, sharp stick that you get to poke at defenders so they can't sack you. Okay.
All right.
And last but not least, this is really, really tough for me, my defense. But I am going to go out in style, a couple's costume. That's right. I'm going to pull the trigger on this one, Rachel, and it's going to be peanut butter and jelly.
Okay.
Those 2 are going to be in sync at all times. There's a potential stickiness factor that can ensure tackling, and I just think in general the wide breadth of them is also able to kind of cover more of the field. I think you could do a lot worse at defense than peanut butter and jelly.
And they have all 4 limbs.
That's right.
Apparently, that's important to people.
Which isn't a given in the NFL. Okay. Colleen, your last pick?
Oh, shit.
Tight end here.
Yes, yeah, I need a tight end. Tight end. All right. A tight end is someone who catches the ball but also needs to block, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a bigger wide receiver. I'm gonna go with the classic Superman.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's reliable. He'll catch the ball, but you know what? He wants to protect people and civilians, so he'll block more than the person with the ball.
He's selfless. That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go. And honestly, you do get the puffed up chest, so it's extra padding.
Yeah.
One of the few costumes that actually has protective layers.
And you look
my only cape. I tried to stay away from capes because I feel they would be easy to bring down people with a cape. But yeah, Superman. I mean, it's classic.
Do you have any concerns? Yeah, about tackling
the cape? Can't you not grab? Oh no, you can grab like the uniform, can't you?
The jersey. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm gonna have that rule appealed, and then I'll put him up there.
That's really smart.
Yeah,
again, very good to check in.
That's right. All right. Let's see. My last pick. I need a tight end. You need someone with strength, a real go-get-it attitude. I'm gonna take another classic for Halloween. I think I'm gonna take Rosie the Riveter as my tight end.
Ooh,
nice pick.
Yeah, that's really good.
Thank you. I mean, I just feel like if you could Gronkify a Halloween costume, like oh my God, I feel like Rosie the Riveter is like the ideal. I mean, I feel like it's athletic. Like she's flexing always. She's strong. She's fit. I just think it's a solid way to round out my team here at tight end.
Great pick.
Thank you. And Ben, do us the honors of closing this out.
My last pick, I was really hoping that they would fall all the way to the end. It's my kicker. It seems a pretty obvious kick to me. I'm going to pick a Rockette showgirl as my kicker. And if you need reason why, just bring up a video of Rockette's kicking, and you'll see why I think it's a great kick and a great pick. I didn't even mean to. It's the worst.
Matt, I got one. Pull it up. Seems like they're tap dancing more than they're kicking.
This way, yeah, you gotta wait for K-Cad. You gotta wait. Oh, there we go. We got little taps.
Where's the classic? There we go.
There we go.
Oh, do we have it?
There we go. Okay, there's some.
Man,
That's good.
that was it.
You also have unlimited backups in case of injury.
Yeah. There's always somebody ready to fill in.
That's right.
So there you go, Rockette.
That's great. Okay, let's go through these in summary. Ben, would you mind going through your team?
My quarterback of Dead Zone is Tiger. He's energetic and will bound all over the place. Sorry, he's a running back who will bound all over the place. He's excited, hard to bring down, and got a positive attitude. My quarterback is the Dread Pirate Roberts. Disciplined again, will do anything the coach asks, flamboyant, and also a little bit of an outlaw, which is exactly what you want from your quarterback. Wide receiver, I have a 1950s sock hop waitress. They're on skates. They're used to dealing with pressure of skating around the different cars, and through a parking lot, there's all sorts of different things that could knock you over, and they're very good at getting open. So that's that. Tight end, it's a classic. It's the gorilla costume. It's the original big man costume, I feel like, with the exception of maybe caveman, which I thought about for there, but decided to go gorilla. It's a classic. I don't regret it.
Made the right choice.
My defense is the Warriors, not the Golden State Warriors, but the Warriors from the 1980s movie. They're a street gang. They're very tough. They work together. There are a bunch of them. And my kicker is Rockette, just because they kick like nobody else, and that's all you want from your kicker. And that's Dead Zone.
Very nice. Colleen.
My team is the Miles Sanderson sisters. At running back, I have a baby pumpkin, cute as a little pumpkin. No one will ever touch that little tyke. And if they do, they could be arrested. At keeper, we've got Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz. She's got the shoes for it. She's got the look, and she's got the will to go home. She wants this game over, and if she needs to kick something to go home, she will kick the hell out of it. At a wide receiver, I've got a million minions. There's unlimited potential there. We will get that touchdown. At QB, I got Woody. He's a leader. Like I said, he knows how to make a plan and execute it. There's no one I would trust more with my life than Woody. At defense, got the pink ladies from Greece, not Glee. Mainly, I really just want Riz. I think the other ones can kind of just hang back and, like, I don't know, smoke a cigarette or something, but mainly Riz from the Pink Ladies. And then tight end, I got a classic Superman. He's big. He's selfless. He'll do anything to help the team out.
Excellent.
Love that.
That's an excellent squad. I think Rizzo is a great middle linebacker. Okay, I'll do my team next. Jack-o'-lantern. My QB, I got David S. Pumpkins at the helm. I think he's a good leader. He's always asking if anyone has questions on the field, and he's willing to help out anyone with the playbook. Running back, I got Waldo back there. I think he's shifty. He's hard to find. He's elusive. My tight end, I have Rosie the Riveter. I think she's strong. She's a stud. I think, and probably solid in the passing game. We just have to assume. I've never seen her catch anything. In fact, I've never seen her do anything other than flex. But strength is a good asset to have. My wide receiver, I have Chick Magnet, a classic asshole costume. Though most wide receivers are divas who think they're great. I have to imagine this person loves their own Instagram. And who knows, if the magnet works, that's a plus. My defense is the Scooby-Doo gang, willing to split up if necessary to cover everything. And you know what? I've never seen an episode where they lose. And my kicker, is a Bigfoot. Will.
Doesn't that worry you? Sometimes I want a team to get a loss so they know how to lose and how much they have to fight to win. Anyways, my team name is NFL. Really clever, good pun. My coach is me as an old man because I'll be wiser and smarter by then, hopefully. Starting off at wide receiver, a two-person horse. Most of you drafted one person at wide receiver. That's a mistake. I have two people. Whether they can catch a ball, that's their problem. We'll figure it out.
I would argue you don't have two people. You have two half people.
Yeah.
Which is worse than one whole person.
But continue.
Go ahead.
At running back, I have Green Man, a slippery asshole that you can't bring down and blends in with the field. At tight end, the inflatable T-Rex costume. Good luck bringing him down when you bounce off him like he's, I don't know, like a inflatable bounce house. Well said, Will. Kicker, I have a clown with his cartoonish big shoes. I have to imagine it, the average person could kick from 50 with clown shoes. QB, I have the devil, free arm and able to ward off defenders with his trident. And finally, a defense, I have the classic PB&J couples costume, wide enough to cover more ground, an element of stickiness to bring down the opposition, and a coordination that I think is going to be really helpful as you have to play in sync defensively.
Excellent. So that rounds up our teams. I will be posting snapshots of these, and I'll be putting them up on Twitter. I'll have a poll where you can vote for your favorite team. Winner gets bragging rights, and I don't know, maybe a mention later in a future episode. We don't really have stakes here. In a video. If they want.
And you get to send a video.
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm going to send a video either way if I win or lose.
That's fair. We have yet to have a loser video so far.
I'm here for it.
Who knows? Hey, anything can happen in these votes. Were there anyone on your board that you wanted to take but couldn't find a way?
Let's start with you, Colleen.
What do you mean?
Were there other people you wanted to pick?
That, like, you guys picked?
Or that didn't get drafted at all.
Oh, Oh, yep. Hang on. Let me see.
Let's go to Ben while you're looking.
I put sexy cat. I just didn't really know where to put her, but I really wanted her out there. I don't know. Maybe she could be one of the special teams coaches or something. And then I had that's all I had.
See, I was operating under the assumption that all of our picks were the sexy versions of those costumes.
Do not do that to my baby pumpkin.
How
dare you?
All right.
How dare you?
All right.
I had just a couple. I couldn't find a place for Iron Man, and I thought about fitting him in at a tight end, but I thought he'd have vision issues in the mask. And what else? Oh, for defense, I toyed with all of the Elvises. Where I would put my fat Elvises on the line and have my skinnier Elvises playing back. But I decided not to do that. The Village People were also thought about there. And then, I thought about the leg lamp from Christmas Story as my kicker. Sort of like your idea, Anthony. It was just a giant leg, and I thought that would be a good thing to kick. But I decided not to do that.
That was dumb. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'm glad you did it. I'm glad one of us did
it. I had really wanted to find a way to get Frida Kahlo in there. I've seen lots of Frida Kahlo costumes, but couldn't. I mean, what's she good at besides having a unibrow and painting? I couldn't work that in.
Inspiring people, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know. I can't agree with you there, Anthony.
I meant on the field.
That happens on the field.
You're right. Okay.
Fourth quarter. Who do you want to talk to? I want to talk to Frida.
Put some respect on Frida's name.
You're right.
It's all behind
You're right. That and a ninja. Like that could have been kicker. That could have been running back. Could have been anywhere. It's my utility pick.
You guys went so far off my board. I actually had basically free reign in general, but I'll quickly go through some of the ones that I thought about drafting at certain points, which were just the classic Ghost, the Joker. I came really close to drafting Sexy Firefighter as my quarterback because there's not that much to grab onto, and he's got a rockin' bod.
And he probably has an axe to ward off defenders.
Bingo.
I feel like Joker would be uncoachable.
I thought he just looked like too much of an asshole to draft. It was the suit. It's the suit factor all over again. He doesn't seem very athletic. Skeleton, vampire, zombies, and the biggest potential drafter that really came down to the last minute for me was just assholes in sports jerseys. You know, the guys that forget costumes and then at the last second decide to go to the party and throw on a jersey. I thought they could have been a good defense.
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely thought about football player.
Boyfriend's football jersey.
Yeah. All right. Well, this was a ton of fun. Thank you so much to Colleen and Ben for joining us. And again, follow Anthony and 2MB Studios on Twitter in order to vote on your favorite team. Any last words, guys?
Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah, it's just super fun. Thanks so much.
Yep.
You got it. Stay tuned for interesting points at 9 p.m. Right on the stream. And that's it. We've been Boy Detectives. I wish we had a catchphrase.
This was a guy.
What do you see? Who are you trying to be? Who does he desire? You wish it was you, but you know deep down, it's her. It's her he's thinking of when you touch. When you make love, she is the one he craves. And you aren't her. Because she is a disembodied marblehead. He tried to tell you. You didn't want to listen. But deep down, you always knew. You'll never be her. Because she is a torso-less Renaissance sculpture. No skin, no flesh, just a smooth stone face. No body, no sweat, cold lips, just part of a neck. How can you compete with that? You try to pretend, but you have a body. Who are you kidding? She's just a head. What can you do? Well, you can smell like you don't have a body. You've got his attention now. Smell like what he desires. Go get your man. Dior, smell like a work of art.
Yeah, get it. Get the mouse. Oh, almost got it. You're so close. I is Kitty Kate, the greatest hunter the animal kingdom has ever seen. Razor-sharp claws that can destroy anything. I is Kitty Kate. On the outside, I am soft and floofy, but inside is a dark rage. I is Kitty Kate. Millions of years of evolution have molded me into the murder machine you see today. Birds, dead. Mouse, also dead. Spider, never to be seen again. I is Kitty Kate. Like my ancestors before me, I attack without warning, and sometimes I give up because I'm tired. The two most important days of your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why. Shania Twain. I is Kitty Kate.
How to survive a runaway train. Place your feet flat on the floor. Tuck your head and arms into the seat in front of you. Begin to cry. Trains are natural INFJs and will stop to comfort you through compassion and practical advice. Now you know how to survive a runaway train.
Hey, how's everybody doing tonight? My name is Josh Boyer. This is Interesting Points. It's a show that I came up with about 7 years ago to kind of take advantage of British panel shows that I loved watching, and I still do love watching. Who am I kidding? Basically, it's all about kind of finding out what makes somebody interesting, talking to other people, and just having a good time. So I'm not going to waste your time any longer. Let me bring on my guests. First up, we've got Sean Baptiste. How you doing, Sean?
Hey, man. How's it going?
Good. Long time, brother.
I know. It's been way too long.
Good to see you, man. Rami, how you doing, Rami?
Hey, how are you?
Long to you too. Kavanaugh, Tookie, how you doing?
Oh God, hi.
I'm taking everybody by surprise. Right? And Todd Page, how's it going, Todd?
Hey, how's it going? I'm excited to be here.
For everybody, it's been we've all been stuck in quarantine for too long, and also in other states.
Yes.
So I figured today, since it's so close to Halloween, I figured tonight we'll start off talking about something that is kind of near and dear to my heart, near and dear to a lot of people's heart, is ghosts. Let's talk about ghosts.
Talk about ghosts, baby.
back.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's all good. For me, I'll tell you a true story. The house I live in, I think, is haunted. I don't know if it's by ghosts or by the devil, but let me explain to you exactly what I mean by that. Is that there's a room in the basement that is jarred, that was jammed shut. That my upstairs neighbor has opened at one point, and on the ceiling was all upside down crosses hanging from chains. The landlord in the lease had one stipulation for my upstairs neighbor, which was don't go in the attic. So he went up in the attic, and in the attic was a 4-post bed with chains on each side of it.
Mm-hmm.
And he sometimes hears boxes moving for no reason up in the attic. So I think this house is either consecrated or exorcisms have happened here. I fear for my life on a daily basis, especially in quarantine.
Yeah.
So I feel like me being here too long is angering the demon inside the house.
I feel like you're this close to living in the bathroom at Man Ray.
You're not wrong.
So that's my story. Let me start with Tookie. Tookie, ghosts.
I mean, I've seen some shit.
All right, let's talk about it.
Okay. Well, this is a true story about when I was 7 years old. So my mom's paternal uncle had passed away, and I barely knew the guy because I was a kid, no real relationship. But my family went down to Long Island in New York to go to the funeral, and the night before the funeral, my mom is asleep on the sofa bed because we're at his children's house. My mom's asleep on the sofa bed. I'm asleep next to her in a sleeping bag on the floor, and across from us on the left seat is our cousin Nancy, who was the departed's granddaughter. And there's a person in the background. Is that normal?
That's my daughter. That's my daughter. I apologize. She came a little late from my sister's house. She's my sister's house.
Earmuffs, and I might freak her out with this story. So Nancy's asleep on the love seat. And I slept fine that night up until for no reason, my eyes just open. I'm wide awake, and I look over at the TV clock on the cable box. 3 a.m. on the dot. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. So I sit up, turn my head to the left, and I see this translucent blue and white figure standing over Nancy on the love seat, looking over her. Because apparently, she was his favorite. And it looked just like my mom's uncle who passed away, the outfit, the hat, the hair, and I barely knew him. So I was just like, nope, that's a ghost. Right back down.
That's pretty much the best reaction to it. Just lie back down.
Yeah, no, went back to sleep. I'm not dealing with that.
Wow, that's crazy. That is insane. I thought my demon house was bad, but that's probably worse. Todd, what about you and ghosts?
I am so boring. I am one of those people who's like, yeah, I don't think so. But I also think that's kind of a self-defense system because I'm afraid of everything. And I mean everything. One time I went in the shower, and when I came out, my boyfriend was in the room, and I screamed so loud. And all he had done was move into the living room. That was it. But he wasn't there before, and then he was there. And so as a result, it was just panic and fear in my heart. So I feel like if I allow myself to believe in ghosts, then I'll just live in constant terror, and a noise will happen, and I already scream. So if I add on to that screaming from a noise, another level of a dead person is watching me, then that's too much for me to handle. I never plans.
That's such a great defense mechanism. I think it's perfect. I don't believe in ghosts because I'm scared of everything else.
You gotta prepare.
That spider gave me a heart attack. I don't believe in spiders anymore.
They're done. They ain't real.
Love it. Rami, what about you?
So this is an interesting one.
Okay.
I was raised by my grandparents, and my schizophrenic uncle lived with my grandparents while I was growing up with them, and he was a very interesting character. I learned a lot of things from him. He is responsible for me getting a subscription to Fate magazine and becoming obsessed with the paranormal as a child, which, that really took a lot of unlearning once I went to college. But he had all these ideas about the way the world worked, and he was obsessed with ghosts, and he was absolutely positive that they existed. And that was a great time for me to hear the voice in the background.
I'll mute. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I just love how we just hear a voice at just the right moment.
And for some reason she's going woo.
But anyway, so my uncle liked to stay up very late watching TV between the hours of like 3 a.m. and 7 a.m. And one day I woke up and he was still awake, and he was adamant on telling me about how he was haunted by a portrait of me that was in our living room. It's basically it's one of those I don't know if anybody ever like got their photo taken at like Olin Mills in like the 80s when you're like sitting like the super shag carpet stuff, and they've got like the background that looks like sort of like leather on one side and it's kind of shiny on the other side, and your face is sort of like, kind of like got like this weird like mist around it, and like your head's in the background but then your body's here, So that was me. I'm kind of like, that's the portrait. And apparently what I did was right around like 3 a.m. when it's like at its darkest and its creepiest, he saw me just kind of wave and just say, "I'm gonna kill you, Uncle Jeff." and from that point on, I was haunted by my own portrait. I could not stand to look at a portrait of me that was in the living room because I was afraid some sort of weird, like, ghost, evil, double version of me was going to come out of the portrait and kill me. So that's my probably slightly too real for this show.
Does the portrait get steadily older as you get younger?
Not, I hope not.
Actually, I'm sorry, that's picture. That's the picture.
Yeah. The Olin Mills portrait of Dorian Gray.
I think it'd be great if the picture of Dorian Gray had the laser from the laser background.
From laser background.
So, Sean, ghosts.
So I was trying to think about this, and I think the closest I have come to being sort of afraid of ghosts or whatever, having experience with ghosts, is when I lived in Newburyport, and I lived in one of those really like old houses downtown. Newburyport, it was like askew, like it was falling apart and stuff, like one of those old ass houses, like on a coastal town. And I lived kind of like above the living room. And I remember one morning, it was very, very early, and I just remember hearing like these like things crashing and stuff. And I know like none of my roommates were like troublemakers. Like they were all in bands, but they were all like straight edge. So like they weren't up to anything ever. So I wasn't straight edge, but they were. So I just heard all this like commotion and stuff down there. I was like, that makes no sense. That's crazy. And I, started creeping down the stairs to kind of see what this was. And this is what I did. I like to scare the ghosts first with this Nosferatu thing. But I got to the bottom of this.
I think Todd just had a heart attack.
Too much.
I got to the bottom of the stairs, and with the house came this stray cat who was like basically feral, named Johnny, and he was just insane, and he really only liked me. But there was like a little cat door, and when I got to the bottom of the stairs, he was just basically had invited all of his cat friends over, and they were just having like a cat orgy in the living room and just knocking shit over and everything. And then when I got there, it was like, Dad came home, and they all ran out the cat door. And so I guess no, I don't believe in ghosts, but it's that's the real takeaway.
There are such things as ghost cats.
There's ghost cats. None of these cats were ghost cats. They were like getting it on real corporally. It's a real situation.
Wow. So we got 2 people who believe in ghosts and 2 people who don't. One who doesn't believe in ghosts because they're so afraid of everything else. And the other one because they're a cynic.
True.
So that was pretty much ghosts. Actually, let me ask you all to sum up ghosts in one word.
Pretty much good.
In one word, Tookie, ghosts.
In one word?
One sentence. One sentence.
Uncles.
What was it?
Uncles.
Uncle.
I got a pretty good one. One word one. It's spooky.
Rami?
If ghosts really exist, why is it that they don't want to talk to me at all?
I wonder if that says more about you or more about the ghosts.
I'm on Ghost Tinder. They're not replying.
Imagine if a ghost left you on red.
Yeah, right.
Sean, what about you?
I don't know if Booberry is a one word or 2, but that's a great cereal with ghosts in it. So, yeah.
Booberry doesn't exist. So that was our talk about ghosts. What we're going to do is I'm going to do the next segment, which is Prove It To Us, which is basically everybody is kind of an expert in one topic, one topic or another. Basically, just prove it to us. Prove to us that you're an expert. Your dog's behind you, Sean.
I don't have a dog.
Now I believe. Dog ghosts I can get with.
So I'm going to start with Rami. Rami, what are you an expert in?
So, I was thinking about doing this. I'm going to do it, but the last interesting points I did, I was an expert in a TV show. And I'm just going to be an expert in another TV show, which makes me sound incredibly exciting as a person. But I'm an expert in Farscape, which I don't know if anybody's heard. Yeah. It's this sci-fi channel TV show that aired from 1998 to around 2002 by the Jim Henson Company. It's like mostly practical effects, a little bit of CGI, but all of the aliens are either Muppets, like scary looking Muppets, like Skeksis style Muppets. Or there's just very very interesting splat says Farscape for the win. Or there's just very cool like a face-off style practical makeup. Great show, a little cheesy. It's kind of one of those shows. It was made in Australia, and a lot of sort of Australian British kind of sci-fi sensibilities are kind of try to be a little bit of everything at once. Sometimes an episode will be horror, and sometimes an episode will be comedy, and sometimes it'll be romance, and sometimes it'll just be straight up normal sci-fi. And the Muppet element combined with the 90s element combined with the it's 90s, so we all have to wear like latex and leather kind of element, just made for a really weird just sometimes goofy show. It was one of the first shows on TV to do an overarching story arc, not just over a season, but through all 4 seasons. So in a lot of ways, it kind of set the stage for long form serialized TV storytelling that really took place in the the prestige age of television. It was you can see a lot of Firefly in Farscape. You can tell me to shut up about this anytime you want, because I will just keep talking. There was a villain who I really like. This will be the last thing I'll say, and then I'll take a breath so you can get a word in edgewise. His name was Scorpius, and he looks like a really pale, dry lizard, and he's covered head to toe in what is basically a bondage outfit. And he's because he's kind of like a humanoid reptile hybrid. He can't regulate his body temperature, so he has this like gigantic like thing in his head that like shoots out, and they would stick coolant rods in it. But the coolant rods were really just like the things that you take to a rave that like glow, and kind of throw them around. But you're watching it, and your willing suspension of disbelief just says, yeah, it's a coolant rod, and it would just like, and every time he would have sex, he would get so overheated it would just blow right out of his head, just real fast.
So the Muppets fuck?
Or what? Do the Muppets fuck? Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
The best thing I'm thinking of is the fact that somewhere a picture of Rami is getting less and less nerdy by the minute.
You cracked the code. That's what that portrait is for.
No, that's awesome. The thing about Farscape is I remember catching a few episodes like the second or third season and telling myself I'm going to watch this entire series and never doing it. So,
well, you know what we all have time for now.
Yeah, I know.
All 4 seasons are on Amazon Prime right now.
Oh, I can't do it. I'm going to do it. I can't do it. I'm going to do it. Tuki, what are you an expert in?
Oy vey. Okay. I am an accidental expert.
Wow.
In oddly specific Halloween things happening to me.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
Yeah. I can give you 2 concrete examples. I am an accidental expert in triggering the Facebook algorithm to show me ads specifically that are Halloween costumes for Black people. I don't know how. I don't necessarily know how I triggered this. Must have been all the BLM posts in June. But I'm every day for the entire month of October, I've been getting very specifically Black Halloween costumes advertised to me. So I've got Ruby Rod from The Fifth Element, the King of Zamunda from Coming to America, Little Kim in the mermaid outfit from the VMAs with the titty pasty and the seashell. And the Kool-Aid Man, which is kind of racist. and also a group costume of the Jamaican bobsled team from Kool-Aid.
Oh my God. Dream.
Yeah. So, but they have white people in those costumes, so it's universal, and the faces are covered, so it doesn't necessarily count as Black. Okay, but anyway, so I'm an accidental expert in that, and an accidental expert in summoning ghosts in small theaters.
Wow. Okay, continue.
During a storytelling show,
you can't leave it at that.
Oh, fine. Well, I mean. During a storytelling show, I accidentally summoned a ghost at a theater that we all love during a festival of gore, if you will. And yeah, so you know how they tell everybody like turn your phone off during the show. So everybody turned their phone off in the audience, which was very courteous because most of the time you get people just put it on silent, but that was very courteous. So I'm in the middle of telling the story about how this girl in my elementary school knew that I had seen my great uncle's ghost. So she convinced me to use a Ouija board in her grandmother's basement to summon her grandfather.
Okay.
Exactly, Todd. Yes.
Nope. It's scary.
I know. I didn't even get paid, heifer. So the little heifer didn't even pay me for my set. I'm serious. Like I'm on my medium level and she didn't even. So anyway, so I'm in her grandmother's basement. Yeah, I called her a girl a heifer. But anyway, so I'm in this girl's grandmother's basement, and you know, she's like strong arming me to use this Ouija board with her. And we're using the Ouija board, and she goes, Grandpa, show us a sign that you're here. And at that very moment that I recite that line in the theater, someone's phone went off, and it was a flip phone that she would turn all the way off. So you know it's real. I summoned somebody's ghost.
That's crazy.
That is.
It's nuts. It's nuts.
There's nothing more terrifying to me than a Ouija board, and I just like it's partially because like in pop culture there is no Chekhov gun that is so quickly loaded and fired.
Yeah.
As the Ouija board. If they pull out a Ouija board in any TV show or movie, then shit's going down, and it's going down now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mess with them.
And the funny thing is, they're actually just a board game.
Yeah,
I know. In my head.
No, speaking of theaters, I just got two quick stories that I want to recount about weird shit that happened to me in theaters when I saw movies. One was we went to see The Sixth Sense, and just as Haley, whatever his name is, said, just said, I see dead people. The woman behind me stopped breathing, and they had to take her out on a stretcher. And the paramedics came in, and I'm not sure if she survived. So
no.
And the other one was.
There's a chance she never found out how that movie ended.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you
That's not
imagine
the way to go out.
Shyamalan leaving you on red? Oh my god.
On the bright side, she potentially never actually had to be disappointed with M. Night Shyamalan's career.
That's actually a really good point. Wait, you never got to see The Happening? Awesome. Awesome.
Last Airbender?
The other one, this one actually fucked me up for an entire 3 months. Was not that the death of the woman behind me didn't fuck me up, but this other one was I went and saw a re-screening of Scream in October on Halloween night, 1999. And just as Jamie Kennedy is going off on his little spiel about what the things could be that's causing all the deaths, and he's going, it could be the next door neighbor, it could be this, it could be that, it could be the millennium. The film melted. The film literally melted. We're all sitting there looking at the white screen, going, "Oh, wow."
Well, a Todd-shaped hole in the wall.
That's the millennium.
Y'all are heroes just for seeing these movies. I saw the only horror movie I've seen 2 horror movies in theater. It was Get Out and Us. And I saw Get Out, and I literally sweat through 2 layers of shirts. I don't mean like I was a little sweaty, there were pit stains. I mean like you could wrench them afterwards, and it was full liquid coming out. I watched oh boy, a scary movie I forget the name last 2 nights ago, and I was like, I'm the bravest person in the world now. Don't deny that. A Quiet Place. That's what it was.
Somebody said, don't put his boyfriend in the next room.
You know what's weird is I love scary movies, but to this day, every time I turn off a light in my bedroom or my kitchen, I'll see something from a horror movie out of the corner of my eye, like the girl from The Grudge or something, and it's just like it's permanently imprinted on my imagination. Like, why do I love horror movies so much? I'm literally haunted by my imagination.
The scariest shit for me of all time in terms of horror movies was the still images of the devil in The Exorcist.
Yeah.
The still images of the devil. And they turn off, every time I turn off a light, I expect to see the still image of the devil just staring at me. Not her crab walking down the stairs, not her turning into a demon in the bed. Still image of the devil has fucked me up.
Yeah. It's the simple things.
Yeah. So, Sean, what are you an expert in?
So the way people like Star Wars movies and Marvel movies and stuff, I don't care. But I'm the monster. No, I just kind of get I get addicted to sort of just weird history shit that I find. And lately I've been way into this. Is actually goes back to Newburyport as well. A guy named Lord Timothy Dexter. So I've been studying this guy. First of all, not a lord. He was from Malden in the 1700s, and he moved to fucking Newburyport, and he bought all of the continental dollars because they were worthless. And then the Congress was like, yeah, okay, we'll pay a penny on a dollar. And then he became the equivalent of a millionaire in the 1700s, which just means he had $30.
That is the exchange rate, I'm pretty sure.
But he never went to school. My man was totally illiterate. He didn't have a mind for business or anything like that, and people constantly tried to take advantage of him and tell him to do stupid shit, so he would lose all of his money. So you're from New England, bed warmers where they put the coals in that pan and they warm up your bed with that. So somebody was like, you know what you need to do? You need to send that shit to the West Indies because they're going to need that. They're going to need that. They're going to need that in the West Indies. So he was like, That's a capital idea. And he took all of them that he owned, put them on one of his ships, sent it to the West Indies, got there, and his captain was like, well, this is just about the dumbest thing ever. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to sell these as molasses spoons. And he ended up making like a huge fortune off of this. He ended up shipping stray cats to the Caribbean. And they showed up just in time for this massive rat outbreak. So like they were in high demand. I just keep seeing him like on the streets of Newburyport, just grabbing cats and throwing them on a boat. And I just thought this fantastic. He once sent coal to Newcastle, UK, which is where coal came from, but it got there just during a coal miner strike. So this dude kept accidentally getting mad rich off of the dumbest stuff of people trying to take advantage of him. But he hated everybody. All his neighbors. He hated his wife. When people would come over to the house, he would just say that she died. And then when she would protest from the other room, he'd say she was a ghost, and that they should just avoid her. She'd curse them. She didn't like that. He once faked his own death just to see if who would come to his funeral. And then when not enough people cried, he jumped up out of the casket with his cane and just started beating people. He wasn't. I don't think this was a good man. I don't think he was a good person. But my favorite thing is about him and the reason for the season is he wrote. I mentioned he was illiterate, right? Didn't know how to read, right? He wrote a book. It's called A Pickle for the Knowing Ones, or Plain Truths in a Homespun Dress. And it is the most wildly misspelled book you could ever read. Things are just randomly capitalized. There's no punctuation. Wait, I'm wrong, because in the second edition of the book, enough people. This is the first B movie of books. Like in the early 1800s, people were like, "You have to read this shit. It's crazy. This is the nuttiest thing." But he, like, people were passing it around, like letting people borrow their copy. But people kept complaining. It's like, man, it's really hard to read your book. It's hard to read your book, Lord Timothy Dexter. And he went and he was like, why? And they're like, well, there's no punctuation. So he added an appendices at the end of the book, and it says, people complain of my book. The first edition had no stops. I put in enough here that they may pepper and salt it as they please. And it's just one page that is just punctuation. And he's basically like, I don't care. Just fucking put that punctuation wherever you want. That's your business. But his name is Lord Timothy Dexter. And if you're looking to find out more about New England eccentrics, he's your guy. Start there.
I would love it if this guy just happened to die in the molasses incident.
That would have been incredible.
A fucking like excellent endpoint for this dude's life and career.
Yeah, it turns out it was just the consumption. It's yeah.
He sounds a lot like a certain president we have.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna name names, but he definitely sounds like a certain president we have.
Have you read that whole thing?
Yeah. It's hard to get through. It's really hard to get to. On the first page, he refers to the president as Jorge Washington. So that's not our first president's name.
What if we're all wrong? And it is
actually, he might be the only accurate person. Yeah, yeah.
So basically it's like the first and last chapter of Flowers for Algernon, the entire book.
Yeah, they cut out all the parts you don't like, all that middle part where he gets smart. It's great.
Wow, Lord Timothy Dexter. I'm gonna check this out. That's amazing.
His house is still around. I don't think you can visit it, but you can drive past it.
I mean, you can't legally visit it, but like, if you believe in yourself, you can do anything, Sean.
I agree with you.
You can't get through the front door because it's a window. Hey, Todd, what are you an expert in?
So I was gonna say musicals because I am. Thank you so much. But I thought that was a little too broad because like there's a lot of people who are experts in musicals, right? So I thought I'd narrow it down. I'm an expert in Dave Malloy musicals.
Ooh.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, Dave Malloy is the composer of his most famous work is called Natasha Pierre and the Great Comet of 1812, which had a rough ending, but was a really, really good show with that had a niche appeal, we'll say.
Yes.
and was the beginning of the current age of theater, I believe, in that it brought in immersive theater into a larger audience. Before Dave Malloy, immersive theater was Sleep With Me, or Sleepwalk, what's it called?
Sleepwalk with Me, yeah.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
I never got to see it when I was in Boston. But before that was it, right? And like that was like moved to New York and had its own little space. And Great Comet started at started in New York and then it went to Boston and then it went back to New York on Broadway. But it started like really small spaces, and the idea was that it was at this like Russian supper club, and you were in that space and everyone was with you and the musical happened around you. And to bring that to Broadway, what they did was they literally took out the first like 60 rows of seats in the theater. They brought the stage out. They put those seats on the stage, facing outwards, along with like tables. And then they built stairs from the stage going to the upper area of the theater. And a little bit of stage went down the middle of the bottom. So the stage was literally everywhere. And this was the first time that on a large scale, anyone had tried to make that idea of like, we're all here right now, something bigger, because it doesn't feel possible, right? Immersive theater, the idea is that you're a part of it, and how can you do that with a grand and large audience?
I don't mean to be rude and interrupt, but I actually did see it on Broadway.
Me too.
Yeah. And did they give you the pierogies at the beginning?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes, they give you little pierogies at the beginning, and they give you egg shakers in the middle so you can play music along with them.
Yep. I mean, our opinions might differ, but like
that's
the pierogies.
Yeah, it's okay. He is definitely an acquired taste.
Yeah.
Dave Malloy does weird harmonies and also whatever he wants. Which I think is why I love him. I like if Pasek and Paul are like the Rodgers and Hammerstein of now, then he is like I would say Sondheim, but like maybe even weirder than Sondheim, because Sondheim was pushing the limits, right? And now we're like, oh, Sondheim's a genius, but like a lot of his musicals when they came out were like, what is this weird harmony like?
Pacific Overtures.
Yeah. Yes. And so he went on to make a musical called Ghost Quartet, which was a much more immersive musical and also 10 times weirder. That is just a story about a ghost, a bear, and an astronomer. And it's honestly not even a story. It's just 4 stories that happen to be told at once. He wrote a lot more, but I won't go too far into it because I don't want to use too much time. But he uses harmonies and Octet. That's the last thing we'll talk about. His most recent musical was called Octet. It is a chamber choir musical. And if you can listen to the cast album, it is the saddest and it is rough. It is not a fun listen. It is beautiful. The music is gorgeous. The harmonies are incredible. But it is about how the internet is bad. And a lot of that is about how it's changed us and made us bad. And so listening to it, you'll be like, oh shit, I do that. And, it is wolf, rough, but gorgeous harmonies.
Did you watch Moby Dick?
I did. I saw Moby Dick.
Yeah.
I liked it. It was long.
It was. I have opinion. We'll chat after.
Okay, great. I won't tell you talking about it. There were definitely mistakes made. It wasn't perfect, but there were again. I can't resist his chords vocally more than anything, and I can't resist his approach to writing is very just here it fucking is. I kind of appreciate music and writing that isn't flourishy and is instead just here's my point, or here's the emotions laid bare more than anything. I think.
Cool, very cool. So that's prove it to us. Everybody kind of proved you. I'll prove that you're experts. The Timothy Dexter thing blew my mind completely. I'm still kind of shocked by the fact that that person existed and I didn't even know about them.
It's crazy that nobody's made a movie yet, of the worst person who ever lived. It's just he really. Oh, he also said he was the king of a town in New Hampshire. I forgot to say that. Chester, New Hampshire, and he bought a farm. And he was like, "Fuck, I'm a king." He also said he was a lord. He's none of these things.
Sorry. To be fair, that is extremely New Hampshire behavior.
Yeah, that really is.
That's big New Hampshire vibes.
Yeah.
He's literally an idiot wrapped in awesome, and it's
who would you cast? People. Sean.
So
what's that?
I said, who would you cast as Lord Timothy Dexter?
Oh man,
Walton Goggins.
Tommy Wiseau.
Walton Goggins. Tommy Wiseau. It's you almost have to pick somebody who can't act and is insane. Like you have to just be like, there you go, and they almost have to not know they're in a movie. I think that could really work. Yeah, that would definitely work. That would definitely work. Neil Breen.
Channing Tatum.
Nick Cage. That's a good one.
Nick Cage.
Nick Cage. Done.
I don't know. I think you'd be overacting that, but that's what Nick Cage does.
Oh, I hate to be that person, but I have one question for Todd.
Oh yes.
If it doesn't take up time. Because musicals, I need to know. Do you feel that? Which do you think was more racist?
Oh boy, yeah.
The green face in Wicked or the green face in Shrek the Musical?
That's a strong question. I'm gonna say
yeah.
I think the features in that one are a lot worse. Like they like at least in Wicked it's just like we put green on a person.
Right.
Whereas in Shrek it's like we also gave them a nose.
Right.
Yeah.
It's an affront to green people everywhere.
All right, so that's that was Prove It to Us. Let me go on to the next bit, which is about guilty pleasures, or as I like to call them, maybe not so guilty pleasures, just kind of things that people may not expect that you like. Like me, I kind of always say, like me, I love those Rock of Love and Daisy of Love shows on VH1. Back in the day, I used to record them and watch them over and over again. I don't know why I watched them multiple times because they're pretty stupid, but I did nonetheless. So that was kind of my guilty pleasure that I'm not ashamed to admit. But so basically, it's nothing you have to be guilty about. It's just something you may not expect someone would think that you like. So I'm going to start with Todd.
Great. People who follow my Twitter, which is many people of you, this will not be surprising to, but to most people, I expect it will be. And this is, again, not a guilty pleasure. It's just something that people wouldn't expect. And my thing is that I run furry conventions. And that is something I'm also an expert in. I am the head of HR for the world's largest furry convention.
Wow.
And I am the head of security for a camping furry convention. That is, we literally rent a summer camp for 6 days and hide out in the woods in Canada. And it is just the most relaxing, best weekend you'll ever have in your life. And I'm the head of volunteers for another one.
Wow.
It's impressive.
Involved. I'm also extremely comfortable at it, hence me bringing it up here. And I like to consider myself an ambassador. The idea people have of what the community is and what the community actually is are rather different. So it's I like to be a positive voice.
That's great.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I think we all kind of get an idea of what it is in our heads from stuff we've seen and stuff we've heard, but I mean, I know it's completely different from what we understand it to be. So it's
CSI really fucked us over.
Yeah, I was gonna say CSI.
There are specific points in like pop culture in the 90s especially that like we as a community like can point to like this is where everyone started hating us.
Yeah.
Did you actually? I have a question about this because I think the first time I remember ever hearing about furs was a positive story, if I remember correctly, was Bob Uecker, the old baseball player / play-by-play call man, and he was in town for some like baseball game, and he was on the calling during the game. He was like, "Well, I was at a hotel and they were having a convention, and let me explain things to you." And I talked to a few of them, and it's this crazy, amazing story because it's Bob Uecker, like the voice of American baseball and the dad on Mr. Belvedere, and I didn't know if the furry community had thoughts about Bob Uecker, but
I mean, I think that anyone that treats us with kindness, we are very positive about.
I love it.
The community is like, I mean, it's almost overwhelming a positive place. We had a bit of a Nazi problem a few years ago, but like so does America. We just dealt with it faster. And are like acknowledged it and are like Nazis fuck off and shit. And like it's a pretty strong like presence. Like we're everywhere for one thing. Y'all don't even know. A lot of lawyers, a lot of doctors. There's actually, this is a really stupid example. But there is there's a lot of people that are involved in the protests and have been involved in the protests that have been going on, which is hell yeah. But like, there's a song by a furry rock artist that is entirely tongue-in-cheek and goes entirely against the image I'm going to try and present as what furries are. It's a song called "No Cock Like Horse Cock." It is ridiculous and so dumb. It's entirely tongue-in-cheek and meant to be stupid and funny. But there is a Portland contingency who have been playing it on repeat at full blast towards the cops, and that just filled my heart with joy.
Nice. I've actually bought a couple of anthropomorphized books that were based off of the furry community, and I didn't realize they were the comic books. I didn't even realize they were. But there was some of the best stuff I've read. One of them was called Circles.
I was gonna say, is it Circles?
Yeah, it was Circles.
I love Circles.
Yeah, Circles was fantastic. I loved it.
Great writing.
So, Sean.
Guilty pleasure. So I would say, I love really bad movies. I don't watch good movies. I don't care for them. I liked My Octopus Teacher. I thought that was as good. That's about as good as I'm gonna get. But normally I just watch trash that I really like, and I try to find trash maybe nobody has seen. Samurai Cop, everybody has seen, hopefully. Yep. I've seen that movie at least 40 times now during COVID. I've seen the movie well over 100 times at this point. It's my happy place. But the movie that I've lately been obsessed with is a movie called Circus Island. And I bought it on Google Play because that's the only place you can buy it. And it stars the Landers sisters, and they were these two women sisters who acted mostly in the 80s. They were on like Dallas and Dynasty and Knight Rider and basically every show and every variety show and everything. And in the early 2000s, their kids, their husbands, everything just decided to like go on vacation to Nassau, Florida, and then kind of film it because one of the kids was clearly going to a circus school down there. And so they had access to the circus tent, and they were like, hey, what if we just cut this whole thing and just turned it into a movie? And that's the movie. Oh, also there's a ghost in it of a strongman tightrope walker / trapeze artist. And it's every part of the movie is wildly incompetent. And it's so charming and lovely, and I just hope everybody gets a chance to see it someday. But I've watched it now like 3 or 4 times.
What's it called?
It's called Circus Island. Yeah.
I just looked up the art for this movie. It's amazing.
It's so good. So the first thing you'll hear when the movie plays is strains of some music. It's probably somebody related to the Family's album, but they never checked the audio levels. So the first thing you hear is music, just like light rock music peaking. Just like all of like none of the range is there. It's all just peaking. It's totally blown out. And that just sets the stage for the rest of the movie. Oh, there's ghost footprints in the sand like seconds later. You have to watch this movie.
I'm going to check it out because I actually have a movie to recommend to you.
Yeah. Hit me.
Bad movies. Veronica.
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 I know Veronica. Oh, yeah.
Have you seen this thing?
I haven't, but I've watched a whole bunch of reviews and everything of it. It's just like, what the? That's a Danzig, right?
Glenn Danzig.
Yeah.
I literally watched this movie the other night. Actually, right after my last Interesting Points, I watched it. I stayed up and watched it.
So good.
And it is yet to leave my brain how bad this movie was.
I've seen some scenes and stuff, and it looks just nonsense. I love it.
The reason why it's so great though is because Danzig was 100% convinced it was a good movie.
That sounds like him.
It was 100%. It was the Tommy. It's the Room of Horror. I swear to God, it's not scary at all. It's a bit bloody, but like there's literally scenes in there that I cannot get out of my head. The entire third story has no plot whatsoever. And I can't stop thinking about it.
I mean, really, if there's one thing that 2020 has told us is that like plot doesn't really need to make sense anymore.
No. Plot is a lie.
It's absolutely insane. I mean, you know what you're in for right from the get go. when the first female character has eyes for nipples, and for no reason. There's no reason for it to happen in the movie.
Wait, did Madonna do that in a music video? No, they were mouths. That's what it was.
Madonna can do whatever she wants.
That's true. That's true. It was the 90s.
I could spend the entire rest of this show talking about this movie, but I'm not going to.
I'm on it. I'll watch it.
Interesting points, Veronica edition.
Yeah, watch it with somebody else. Make sure you watch it with somebody else, because you'll enjoy it more.
That's fair.
I watched it alone, and it's fuck with my brain. So Tucky,
before we get deep into mine, highly recommend, if you haven't already seen it, Theodore Rex, which is free to watch.
Yes.
And free to watch on YouTube. And it's not even just the movie itself. The story behind the movie is just so funny and so good. Like, yeah. It's
in that vein, I do recommend the non-rated version of Tammy and the T-Rex.
I was going to say Tammy and the T-Rex.
Okay.
That's a good one, too.
With what's her name? The girl from Wild Things.
She was married to Charlie Sheen, right?
Yeah.
Briefly.
Denise Richards.
Yes.
Up my garbage movie game, I guess.
Yeah.
Or not.
Tammy and the T-Rex is definitely worth it. The unrated version, because it's just gory for no reason.
And the end sequence is one of the dumbest things you'll ever see.
My guilty pleasure for the past couple of years actually has been going on 3D tours of really fucked up houses that are on the market for sale. So a couple of years ago, there was a house in Ontario that went on sale, which it was like 222 Branson Road in Ontario. Branson, Ontario, but 222 Chatham Road. That's what it was. I don't know if it's still on the market, but on the outside, completely normal looking house, but inside, the minute you get in there, clowns everywhere, just clowns, clown dolls, clown carpets, clown sheets, Fago in the fridge, clown everything. Clown,
oh wow! ICP represent.
Yeah,
it was just clowns inside that house, every room that you went into. And the worst part was that in the dining room, there was the king clown sitting on the dining chair. And he's facing this way on the chair, but his eyes are looking this way. And I'm like, that clown murdered the homeowners. That's why that happened. So, and then a couple months ago, there was this house. In
the closet was Shaggy 2 Dope.
Oh, I wish. So then a couple months ago, there was this house. I have to re-look it up. But there was a house that went on sale. And again, completely normal looking house. You tour it. And on the outside, it looks small. And they're like, no, it's 2,200 square feet. Because when you get to a secret door in the kitchen and you open it, there's a prison. An actual prison.
Oh, I know about this house.
I know. And then now what's actually gone viral is this house in Louisville.
I saw this.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
It's okay. I'm gonna drop the link maybe in the chat or something so that you can all go on the 3D tour yourself. Because this house is it's insane. When you go in, there's a loaf of cat, there's crates of Monster Energy drink. There's a porn section, there's a baptismal tub next to the porn section. There's a room with 2 side-by-side toilets. This house is a mess. And I just don't know. I just don't know if any house I stumble upon in the future will ever top that. But now on YouTube, there are gamers who do speed runs to find the tub from the entrance in under a minute.
What have we become?
Wow, that's amazing. Rami.
So I like that you qualified it as not necessarily a guilty pleasure, not so guilty pleasure. Because I think once people get to know me, this is not a surprise. But at first glance, this is probably a surprise. I love Carly Rae Jepsen. Like I love Carly Rae Jepsen so much. So much that I actually did when IB was still a thing, when in-person theater was still a thing. I did a reverse striptease, not a reverse striptease. I did a neck up striptease with layers. I had like layers of masks on. And I would just like take a bag off and take another bag off and take a mask off and take another mask off. I did a neck up striptease to a Carly Rae Jepsen song, Body Language, at IB. Killed every time. But this has a part two. Since the pandemic started and I have so much time at home, and I don't know if you can tell, a very spacious living room. I've been choreographing my own dance routines to Carly Rae Jepsen songs when nobody else is around. Nobody else being my girlfriend who I live with, so she doesn't have to see me just being a complete loon. I mean, because the thing is, like, sometimes I just can't really just get the energy to go outside, to go do a workout. I love to bike, but sometimes I just don't want to see people. So this is my way of getting a workout. I just I put the mental effort in. It's the mental workout into doing the dance, and then I actually just run through the numbers until I get the dance down perfect, and I'm all nice and sweaty, and I'm very happy, because you can't listen to a Carly Rae Jepsen song and not be happy. It's impossible. Even the sad songs, even the songs that are about heartbreak, still make you be like, ooh, I'm feeling sadness. It feels good to feel sad right now. I love feeling feelings. So yeah, there you go. That's
before you came into my life, I missed you so bad. I felt that.
One of my best moments before we all went inside and stayed away from people was going to a Carly Rae Jepsen concert at Fenway. Just everybody just like pressed up against each other, sweat, glitter, happiness. We came outside at the same time that the Red Sox game came out, and it was just on one side of Lansdowne, it was just a sea of Red Sox caps, and then on the other side of Lansdowne, it's just everybody's in neon and glitter. It's beautiful. It was beautiful.
The people want to see the dance, Rami. I'm just noticing the chat.
Oh.
And that was also the last concert I saw before lockdown.
Yay. Oh, and they dropped the link to the house in the chat too.
Yeah. It's a time. You're going to get lost.
You're
going to get lost.
Yes.
All right. We'll do a special show, me and the dances.
This
It's like a new
really
2MD show. Rami teaches you how to dance to Carly Rae Jepsen.
Rami choreography hour.
There's a really great essay about Carly Rae Jepsen. You heard it here first.
What have I done?
About Carly Rae Jepsen by Hanif Abdurraqib, who has a great book of essays. If anyone's looking for a cool book about like music journalism and like music essays, it's called "They Can't Kill Us Until They Kill Us." And an excellent essay on Carly Rae Jepsen in there. They're all excellent. Highly recommend. Sorry.
No worries. What I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to, that was great to hear everybody's guilty pleasure. Really quickly, I'm going to turn to the chat to find out what somebody might not like or might be a pet peeve. So I want to get a couple of them and have you guys choose whichever one you want to do and try to prove to them that it's not as bad as they think it is. So chat, please help me out here. Being asked questions. So great. Okay. Split ends is a good one. Stepping on glass. That's prove that one. Someone prove that one. That one's not that bad. What else we got here? That's someone pick one of them and go with it. Taylor Swift.
The shade.
I mean, I will take Taylor Swift.
Okay.
We just explain why it's not that bad.
Yeah, just get proof that it's not that bad.
Sure. I get why people hate Taylor Swift. But have you heard Folklore? Because Folklore is excellent, and everyone I know that hates Taylor Swift, historically speaking, has loved it. It is like it's like Taylor Swift heard the Avett Brothers a lot, or like other like classically folk, not classic, not 2000s folk, like rock, and was like, oh, I can do that. And so it's less like poppy, if that's not your jam. It's less like rocky, like look at me, and more like chill Sunday morning vibes. And it's a really big like change of direction. And it honestly was. I enjoyed 1989. And honestly, like if you didn't, like you're wrong. But Folklore was like such a different perspective and like vibe from Taylor Swift that like it really shows.
Cool.
With the National.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Sunday morning vibe. That's a great way to describe it too.
I like 1989 too, but you saying Taylor Swift saying I can do that, I'm leery because the last time she said some shit like that, we got her cover of September from Earth and Empire.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
that
fair.
no.
That's a solid complaint.
Someone to take putting up Christmas stuff before Halloween.
Yeah.
One word from Tookie solves the problem. Oh yeah.
Let's see.
Watching people play Minecraft on Twitch. That's easy for me. I do watch people play Minecraft on Twitch because it's a game I don't want to play myself.
Yeah.
So I'd rather watch other people be more proficient at it than myself.
I like the Split Ends one. Is something I think I've come to appreciate as I get older. Now moving into my mid 40s, and these luscious locks are only getting thinner and thinner and thinner. And now I look at Split Ends as twice as much hair. Kind of use that to sort of like cover things up a little bit. I'm not complaining. That's I'll take what I can get at this point.
I'm going to take one more from whoever wants to take one of them, and then we got a
Christmas one.
Christmas one. That's
just because I actually don't. I hate it too, but I'm gonna try to argue against myself. So first of all, the earlier the Christmas stuff is out, the sooner people can actually start to decorate and shop for it and get out of the way of all of the people who are procrastinators who are going to need to shop for that stuff later. You won't have to have all those people in your way. But also, putting it up before Halloween is a really good thing for anybody who wants to have a Krampus costume. Because you can go get your like your ghoulish goblin mask, and you can also go get your Santa material and put that together. Oh yeah, T2MB Studios. So, damn it, Rami, you are 100% right.
Somewhere a picture of Rami is not proud of itself. All right, well, that's our show, everybody. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Sean. Thanks, Rami. Thanks, Tookie. Thanks, Todd. Love you all. Thank you to Matt and Ben and Rachel, 2MB Studios. Thank you to the audience. Thank you for coming on every Tuesday, checking us out. Stick around for Ken Breeze. Jock my memory tonight. He's got Jeremiah Watkins. Should be a fantastic show. It's always a great show to see. Please follow and subscribe on a Twitch. And thank you all for coming to the show. And have a great night, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. Has this ever happened to you? You're trying to wash your hands, you test the water temperature, it's fine. So you start up and go about your business. But you got an old faucet and you didn't leave the handle in the perfectly right position, so it's slowly growing scaldingly hot. Now you're scrubbed up and ready to rinse, but that's not gonna work, idiot. What are you gonna do? Try and adjust the faucet with your slippery, soapy hands? What is your other option? Leave? No. You call me. I'll come help adjust your faucet. Seriously. You call, I pick up, I'm in my car, on the way. I'm already there. I'm at your door. Hey, it's me. You call me to adjust your faucet. And the door is locked. You gotta open the door. I'm here to adjust your faucet. okay? Now just come on, I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you. You just got to come over here and unlock this door. Unlock the chain. Come on. Come on, I'm here to adjust your faucet. Come on, just let me in now. Come on, buddy. You gotta let me in. You gotta let me in. You gotta let me in this door. You gotta let me in this door, please.
Call me.
Welcome to 91 Donkey Lane, an inauspicious apartment complex that holds many magical secrets. Currently, it's inhabited by two idiots, Nate Lopez and Robert Bacon, who have no idea of its true power and refuse to get along. These are their adventures.
Now, we are whispering to you guys right now because we heard a murderer break into the house, and we both panicked like idiots in a horror film and hid in the closet. Try not to make too much noise.
I'm not making any noise at all.
But we've been in here for goddamn hours.
Yes, it's been a long time.
And I can't believe he hasn't found us yet because this goddamn meatloaf dog.
Yeah, this is Rover the meatloaf dog.
Get away from the closet. The murderer's going to find us. What is he even doing? He's just kind of hanging out right now. Hold on, let's see if I can hear what he's doing. He's playing Wii U.
He's playing Wii U. Yeah, you can hear the Mario music.
Why is he playing
I don't know.
Wii U?
Well, sometimes you get caught up in one of those speed runs, you know? Yeah.
Anyway, he's just kind of hanging out in here.
Yeah, he's just, I don't know what his plan is.
Shh, meatloaf dog, you're gonna get us killed. I hate that you're attached to this thing. You shouldn't have named him.
Well, I had to. I'm sorry. He was so cute. So I made a meatloaf. I set it for 350 degrees to, an hour, just like normal. And when it dings, I hear this little thing comes running out. Anyways, a meatloaf kind of turned into a dog, and so I'm keeping it.
It's filthy. It's
poops.
getting shit everywhere.
It shits little meatballs, though. It's very
disgusting.
Cute. It's very cute.
It
They're very good too.
When it wags its dumb little tail, ketchup goes
everywhere. Shh, be quiet.
I'm sorry.
You keep raising your voice.
I don't know. Hold on. Let's see what he's doing. He's playing the maracas.
We have maracas?
I didn't have maracas.
Did he bring maracas? What kind of a murderer brings maracas?
Are we sure he's a murderer?
I mean, he's wearing a mask and carrying a machete and covered in blood.
Dog is pissing.
Well, yeah.
Oh,
Careful.
pissing.
It's actually gravy.
Yeah.
It's a little too salty. You have to cut it with some water or your own pee.
My clothes are going to reek like gravy.
And pee. It maintains some of that as well.
Oh, I hate living here.
Listen to this fantasy podcast for free on Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, or your favorite podcasting app. See you there, you donkeys.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to a mobile edition of Jock My Memory. I'm your host, Ken Breeze. I'm coming to you not from Los Angeles. We are actually in Rogers, Arkansas. Yes, I'm in Rogers, Arkansas, the corporate headquarters of Walmart. I'm not going to tell you why. There's no secret reason. It's just the path that I've taken back east. I'm not partnering with Walmart. The show isn't being sponsored by Walmart. Maybe down the line, maybe I can convince them that this is a worthwhile endeavor to sponsor. We're waiting for our guest to connect. We've had a little bit of technical issues, but I'm very excited for this week's guest. He's a very funny comedian by the name of Jeremiah Watkins. Get those Walmart dollars. So Matt, how are you? Matt, are you able to come on? Are you hiding?
No,
There.
I set up my green screen and everything for you.
Oh wow, that looks good.
Yeah, this is my Halloween. This is my Halloween green screen.
It's very cold here in Northwest Arkansas. How's it up there?
It's a little chilly. It's starting to get that fall. Going to Maine tomorrow.
What part?
We're going to Owl's Head, which is
Owl's
up in
Head.
it's like 3.5 hours north of Boston. So not quite up to Bar Harbor, but halfway there.
Spent a lot of time in Bar Harbor as a child.
Oh, yeah.
I caught a crab fishing for mackerel in Bar Harbor.
You caught a crab fishing for mackerel.
Yeah, my brother's godfather, one of my dad's best friends, is from Bar Harbor. And they moved down here. They kept their house up there. So we kind of had almost like a dual residence. So we go up there all the time. And when I was little, my dad brought us all out early in the morning. We all went fishing for mackerel off this pier because schools are supposed to come through.
Nice.
And they wouldn't give me a real fishing rod. They just gave me a little line with a hook on it. And they're like, here, kid, have fun, you know?
You're
And
like, what the shit is this?
What the shit
You're
is
like,
this?
I want a fucking fishing pole.
This isn't a pole. This is a string with a hook on it. I'm
not a
insulted.
fucking idiot, mister. Give me a fishing pole.
Yeah. So I dropped the line, and I feel something tug eventually, and I'm like, oh, I got something, you know? Not thinking that there is a bottom to the ocean. And the hook hits the bottom of the ocean, and I hooked a crab. And I ended up pulling a crab up, and I was really
Were you scared?
Scared.
Yeah.
The crab was probably the size of my current hand, which I have small hands for a grown man. They look big in this.
But for a crab, that's huge.
For a little boy, you know, expecting a mackerel, and then it's a snapping green crab, and I was already upset. Yeah, it was a green crab. It was green. I remember it being green. Weird, right? It was like a deep sea kind of crab.
It is.
Yeah. So
you're in Arkansas.
Yeah, I'm in Arkansas. I'm driving cross country. I've decided to relocate back to New England for the time being.
Mm-hmm. It's a good place to winter, I hear. I hear wintering in New England is the best.
Well, if you miss snow, as I do, it is the place to winter.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just need to switch it up. LA has not been the most fun during quarantine. I think the breaking point was I got a message on Citizen, which is an app that a lot of LA people have just because it keeps you updated on earthquakes and crime, which
two things that
major things in LA. Yeah, huge things. Crime and earthquakes and fires as well.
And fires.
So that stuff's all happening, but then there's just this one morning where I got like 3 notifications in a row. And I've been telling this story because it really kind of was my breaking point.
Yeah.
Where it was like trash fire, nude man with knife. Like right in a row. And I'm just like I don't
You're like I can get that back east. You can get the nude man with a knife out east without all the fires.
Well, at least without the rent. I mean, if I'm gonna have nude men with knives, I might as well not be paying LA rent.
Yeah.
I can see a nude man with a knife in Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
I mean, yeah. And they're prepared for the winter, so they're probably very hairy.
You think so?
I mean, maybe.
I would shave my head for the winter because I didn't like having a head. Because I'm vain. I'm very vain.
You're a vain person. I've always said that about you.
Yeah, that's what I come off as. I don't know what's happening
here. Your guest
is here. He's here.
Yeah, he's
pretty
waiting
excited.
back in the green room very patiently.
All right, so let's stop chatting. So
I'm gonna go back to my.
I'll say goodbye to you. Love you.
Bye.
See you. Bye. That was Matt, our producer. He's wonderful. So let's bring out our guest. So he's an accomplished stand-up comedian. He tours the country all over. Very excited because he has a new 1-hour stand-up special coming out. It's his first, I believe it's his first big special. So we'll be talking about that. We'll look at the trailer. He's also a Kansas City sports fan. So he's a big Chiefs guy. And I, being from New England, I'm a big Pats guy. So we'll talk about some of that. Also a Royals fan. I don't know if he likes the Kings. They were in Kansas City at one point, now in Sacramento. Might tease him a little about that because no sports, real sports city lets sports teams go. You hear me, Seattle? Anyway, let's bring him out. He's wonderful. I've also improvised with his wife, who's also a wonderful person. Let's bring out the great Jeremiah Watkins.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
How are you?
It's a little dark there. How are you? What's going on?
This is the only light that I could get my hands on. I'm in my freaking bed right now, dude.
Oh boy. Where are you?
I'm at my place. It's my apartment, but my
You
wife
made it
is
back.
cooking right now, and it's like this is the new normal for podcasting at the moment.
Yeah, unfortunately. Well, I'm enjoying it. It's intimate.
As long as you're getting good sound, that's most important.
Yes, we need to hear those pipes.
Yee.
Yeah. What's on the hat? The saxophone?
Yes, sir.
Keeping it saxy.
My new merch, dog.
That's right. So let's talk about what's going on with you have a 1 hour album, I believe, comedy album.
A 1 hour special coming out. It's going to be available for rental on Amazon Prime on December 8th and video on demand and a lot of other platforms.
That's great because we're on Twitch, which is associated with Prime. So that's great.
Okay.
If a lot of the people watching this, if you have Prime, you can subscribe to the channel for free. So a lot of the people that are watching the channel are Prime people, so they can watch your special. It's great.
Heck yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty wonderful.
Rock and roll.
Rock and roll. So you've been touring?
Yeah, I was just in Texas over the weekend.
What was that
and
like?
It was good. I tested negative. I got back, so I'm good. Because they're in the showroom. They are social distance a little bit, but not really. Like in the actual showroom, like they just have to wear masks to go up to the bathroom. But we're inside, and it's fairly normal. It's limited capacity, so
Yeah.
it wasn't like crazy in there, but it's still like you're pretty close to people.
How are you feeling about that?
I'm all right, actually. I don't do the meet and greets anymore. I do like a Q&A and a little fun thing from stage. I'm like, if you were going to say anything to me after the show, here's your chance. It's an open forum. And sometimes it gets rowdy and stuff, which I kind of like. So it's fun.
Yeah, I enjoy your style because I'm an improviser, and it seems like you're using a lot of you've improvised a lot yourself. It seems like you bring a lot of that to the table when you do your stand-up act.
Oh, dude, yeah, it's super loose. I really try to tailor it based off the energy of that crowd that particular night. So if it's a crowd that's giving me tons of energy for material, like they're liking and responding to material, I'll stay in that vein of stuff. But like if certain things aren't popping like they usually do, I'm like, okay, well, let's try some improv. And then that starts working. I'm like, oh, okay, let's do that for a while. And just kind of
go with that.
Yeah, go with the flow.
It reminds me kind of like a sports type of thing where, you have your scripted plays and then sometimes you got to throw the script out the window and just
that playbook is bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Do you feel any of the stuff you learned playing sports has translated into comedy? Because I feel like a lot of the team dynamic stuff I felt has translated for me personally when I've dealt with comedy teams.
On the improv side of things, for sure. Stand-up side of things, I treat the audience sometimes as a team member. Like I can work together with them. Where sometimes it's a give and take with the audience. I would say that's the best way to kind of assimilate the two things. But stand-up is a very solo art. It's very different from improv. There's everybody's competitive for themselves, and it's not like it's not really like a team effort as much as you sometimes would like it to be, or at least I would like it to be. But what I would like to do, like when there's those shows where it's a lineup, like a showcase style where it's back-to-back comics doing shorter sets. I always liked playing off of the last guy, whatever they said.
Yeah.
And that's not super popular with some other comics, just because they're like, I'm going to do my act. The last guy didn't exist, whatever. But I, will sometimes, like in those formats of shows, I'll riff off of something that they said, or if a crowd member an audience member said something to a previous comic before, I'll bring that up again to keep it like more of like a cohesive feeling. But I think that's more of a me thing in our like improv background.
Well, it keeps it vital,
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you'll see somebody just like doing their act in spite of things, or like they're kind of walking into the wind. Yeah. It's like, I'm just going to run my game here, man. I'm going to do my thing.
Yeah. It's like it's the same plays over and over that didn't work against any other team, but here we go. Or maybe the play worked 5 years ago, and you're like, that works.
Yeah, it's shifted. Well, I mean, we've seen a lot of that, of course. Also being flexible, I'm sure it helped when you do have things that, it's a tough time to do comedy right now, just the climate in the world. So having that kind of flexibility, I'm sure, is an asset for you to kind of adjust. And, depending on where you go, you might want to say something about this, do you contour things depending on where you're at? Or I know you do it by audience, but do you ever take things out or put things in?
It's more just how I'm riffing with that particular crowd, but like, I don't change up my material unless I know for a fact, like, oh, this isn't going to fly in this region. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's interesting. Dependent on where you go, what region, and how conservative or how liberal. I've actually found that it's actually way easier to perform for conservative leaning crowds.
Yeah, I would think so.
Because there's less about being politically correct and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, dude, I was just in Texas. It's one of my favorite places to perform because you can literally make fun of them to their face, and they're like, "Yeah, that's funny, man. That's funny.
You got me.
You got me." Yeah. Like they might spit something back, but if you get them again, then they're like, "All right, man, this son of a bitch is funny. All right, he's
got
good.
Me. He's good." Yeah.
Where some of the San Francisco and Portland sometimes you got to be careful with what you joke around with, because they'll just turn on you.
Yeah. It's just a tough time in general to do to perform things. Yeah. So you're from Kansas, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, which part of Kansas?
Overland Park is the city that I grew up in, and then later lived in Olathe.
Olathe.
Which a lot of people, if they're a telemarketer, I'll know right away if they say the word Olathe rather than Olathe.
I have a confession to make. I've said Olathe my whole life, reading it on maps. So
of course,
yeah, I've learned.
That's how you know that people aren't from the area. They say Olathe because it's spelled like that.
It's very similar in Massachusetts with Peabody, which is spelled like Peabody, like Mr. Peabody.
Yeah.
But if you say it Peabody, you're like, oh, no, get out.
This guy's not local. Yeah.
That's Peabody. Yeah.
Peabody. I like that. That is a very like Massachusetts way of saying that. Peabody.
Peabody. Yeah, you got to take
I went through Peabody as a teen.
I had my puberty in Peabody. It was terrible. My name was Pebbles.
My really balls dropped when I went through Peabody.
Balls, yeah. Did you ever
my balls? Yes, they did.
Yeah, drop. Did your balls drop ever?
Uh-huh.
I'm still waiting.
Mm-hmm.
Still waiting. I'm a little boy trapped in a fat little man's body. Eek! Let me breathe. What were we just talking about? Balls. Yes. The balls dropping, puberty, Peabody. It's all great stuff. Anyway, so you grew up in Overland Park. You played, we saw on the form, played a little little basketball.
I did. Does that help, by the way, what I just did with my screen?
Yeah, you look good. That looks way better.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see that pretty face.
All right. There we go.
Played basketball. So you're a taller gent. How tall are you?
6'3".
6'3". So you're on the tall side.
I am on the tall side.
When did you have your growth spurt? Do you remember?
It would have been around like that. It's probably 7th grade, 6th, 7th grade. I was always one of the tallest kids in my class.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a pretty gradual thing. I didn't like shoot up like 6 inches. It was all like very, very
You all
gradual.
just maintained?
Yeah.
And were you a center? Did they automatically stick you at center?
I played center for years until I went to public school. And so I went to a private Christian school growing up, and I was center and a power forward for the longest time. And I was a center even in up until like 8th grade. And then there were kids who were going through their growth spurts who started to get real tall.
Yeah.
And those kids like were like the awkward, like 6'6" kids that were like no weight to them whatsoever. Like they didn't fit inside their body at all.
We had one of those. Yeah.
Yeah. Like we, there was one dude named, it was so weird. I went to high school with a guy named Matt that he was 6'9", and he couldn't dunk because he wasn't fully like developed in his body.
Wow.
He was so like gangly, and the coach is like, dude, you gotta start lifting weights, man. You gotta start doing squats, and you gotta get this together, because like you're expected to be able to rebound and get at least. So he would do, eventually he got to a point where he could dunk as high school went on, but like he was 6'9", like almost in like 8th or 9th grade. He was like,
whoa,
huge. Like he just shot up way earlier than everybody else.
That's massive for 8th grade.
Yeah.
Yikes. That must be, I mean, that's hard. I mean, I grew up short my whole life, obviously. It's not like I shrunk. That would be weird though. Benjamin Button, the height thing going on.
Dude, that'd be so weird. You're like, dude, I used to be 7 feet tall. I don't know what's going on in my life.
My spine feels great. It's all right.
I don't have those tall guy back problems anymore. It's awesome.
It's great. I can fit into everything, sleep on couches. It's fabulous. But it always seemed to me like those guys it was like, like their muscles, like you said, just didn't work. Like the coordinate, like they just weren't mature as the bones were. And I'd get so frustrated with those guys because, I loved Akeem Olajuwon. That was my guy when I was little, other than the Celtics. I'm a big Celtics fan. But Akeem was my guy. And I was always like, if I could only be that tall, I would be able to do the things he does, because I would copy all his moves. I'd be in the driveway doing all his hooks and stuff. And I look at those guys and I'd feel like it was a waste of flesh, to be honest.
Yeah. What did you think of the Michael Jordan documentary series? If you're a big Celtics guy, did you like all the Larry Bird stuff and all that?
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, it seems to me like Larry is one of the guys he really respected. Because they both kind of had that killer instinct. I think Magic is more of a friendly, magnanimous dude. I think Larry was more of Michael's type of guy, and it's interesting. Like I watched Space Jam when it first came out, and then never really thought about it again, even though I'm a huge basketball fan. And I rewatched that again recently over the quarantine, and I forgot that they kind of had a fun banter between the two of them. You could tell they kind of had a fun relationship, I think.
Yeah.
What did you think? What did you think of it?
I love that series. It was one of those series that got me inspired just to get after comedy and everything.
Yeah.
It's just to see work ethic like that is so cool. Like to see Michael outrunning people in practice, like that's what I'm like, that's incredible. Like not even when the cameras and stuff are rolling, it's like, obviously the film crew is behind them, but they're like, no, this was every practice, him like out hustling us all. And
always wants to win. Well, that's what I mean. I think I was kind of getting at that earlier I know you said stand up is more like a complete different thing and a solo thing, but like I used to throw javelin, and a lot of the time I know I don't look like a javelin thrower, but I threw javelin just because I thought it was fun. And there's so many like points of failure with a javelin throw.
Mhm.
Just the way you plant your feet, the way you run, your steps, your arm angle, all these things. And I feel like having to work on that sort of thing by yourself kind of translates to stand up, because it really is you're almost competing against yourself when you do stand up. Like, how tight can I make this joke? How, you're always fine tuning, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Always crafting. And I feel like it's a lot like somebody's golf swing or somebody throwing a javelin, like an individual event. So
Yeah, I mean that's probably why I like pool so much. Is it's a very repetitive game, but it's different every single time. So you can work on your stroke as well, and pool, and just making sure little things like your bridge hand and everything are better. And then you get into English and then ball placement and all that stuff. And all that's like exact with stand up. Like you can play it the same way, but every game is going to be different. Like every audience is going to be different. Like it's going to be, no matter what, you can have down everything down to a T, but there's always going to be, it's never going to be the exact same.
That's interesting. So your favorite sport, would you say it is pool now?
Pool now, just because that's something that I can actually have access to. I'll always love basketball so much, but realistically, I don't get out and play it as much as I used to. It was cool. I was in Texas this weekend and they had a basketball court linked to the hotel that I was staying at. And I literally checked out a basketball from the lobby, and they pumped it up for me, and I shot hoops by myself for like 45 minutes. And I hadn't played since before quarantine started. So my arm is still sore from just doing this motion, which is crazy because but it's not a common motion that you do unless you're playing basketball all the time. But dude, I felt like an old man because I was like, dude, this is making me sore. This is so stupid. But I had fun doing it.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I put up like 53s at the court in West Hollywood near my house not too long ago. And I was sad after. It's like my arm, you get that muscle right across the top.
Yeah, dude. I was shooting a lot of threes because when you're alone, that's more like a fun thing to do.
That's what you do. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's harder to rebound though, threes. You really got.
They had a net behind the goal that it would spit the ball back to you. I was like, this is perfect, dude.
What hotel was this? Where was this, in Dallas?
Residence Inn in Addison.
Addison. All right. Shout out to the Residence Inn in Addison for having excellent.
You hooked your boy up, dude.
Basketball facilities. Thank you so much.
At first, they gave me a women's ball. And it had been so long since I had even seen a women's ball. I was like, oh man, this feels good, And then I started dribbling it, and then I looked at it, it said 28.5. I'm like, isn't it 29.5? And I had to Google it. I was like, I'm 99% sure this is wrong. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, yeah, this is a women's ball. And he goes, oh, okay, let me look for the other one.
So is pool your main thing to do to blow out, just to entertain yourself on the road?
After shows, for sure, because what's so great about it is if I'm with somebody else who I'm on the road with, almost always they want to grab a drink somewhere. So I just say, can we find a bar with a pool table? And it's like a really easy compromise that way, because I don't drink at all, so I'm not seeking that out. But like if there's a bar with a pool table, it's like, okay, everybody's happy. The places where I'm like miserable are like if it's a bar where there's nowhere to sit and it's just one of those standing bars. It's just like, dude, like
why
get me out of here. Like I'd rather go riff with you outside in the cold than like just be shoulder to shoulder,
Yeah. So have you ever drank, or you just never did?
Never drank before, no.
That's cool, man. I don't drink now, so that's I was just curious about the choice. That's cool. I think it seems like, at least for me, stand-up was more of a drinking world than improv was when I was in that world.
Yeah, would you say that there's more people you knew who did coke in the stand-up world or the improv world?
I hate to say it, but the improv world.
I know. That's what I think too. That's what I
Yeah,
think too.
I think there's more cocaine use in the improv
Yeah.
world.
Mm-hmm.
You filthy improvisers, and I'm an improviser, so I fully own that. But yeah, I don't do a lot myself. I mean, I've tried it, but I don't think it helps with.
It was something that
performance.
surprised me. I was like, I think Ken is going to concur with me on this one, but that was something that surprised me. Is I've seen more improvisers who want to do coke and stuff than stand-ups.
It's weird. It's almost like you had to be messed up to do comedy back in the day. Seems like everybody was either drunk or on coke or smoking
yeah,
weed, or
especially like in the 70s and stuff. Dude,
yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, a lot of problems. You know, it seems like it's a healthier scene now.
Yeah, it definitely
Yeah,
is.
yeah. So, growing up, did you think you would be playing sports in any sort of like college or professional way where you're like, this is my thing? Really, for basketball?
For sure. It started off with soccer. We'll get to basketball in a second. So
Okay, soccer first.
was the first thing where I was a really, really good goalie at a young age. I was like a state ranked goalie for Kansas. And I was a part of a team that was very strong, that was like a premier soccer team that
Club
we
team?
started like traveling, and it just got to a point where we started doing tournaments and stuff, and we started going on the road a little bit. And my dad basically was like, he cut it off. He shut it down because we kept having tournaments on Sundays. And he's like,
Oh,
that's
boy.
the Lord's Day. Nope, you're not going to be doing that. He goes, also, this is getting too expensive. Like, not happening.
Wow.
So we literally like put the brakes on that, and that was done.
How did you feel when that happened?
It was hard because like it's hard to be good at something and then just like have somebody else take it
Yeah,
away, like
ripped it
not really
away.
have like a choice in it. But you just more accepting. Like I've always been all right, we'll figure it out, like roll with the punches kind of thing. So
Mhm.
that's when I started leaning into basketball more. Was when when that wasn't a reality anymore. So I started shifting my energy into that and really putting all my time into practicing basketball as a kid.
Mhm.
And I was like big fish in a really small pond at the private school that I went to. Like I was scoring like a ridiculous amount of points.
Right.
8th grade public school, I go to try out for the basketball team. And I didn't have the best tryout, but like they placed me. There was 4 teams. There was A1, A2, B1, B2.
Mhm.
And they placed me on the B1 team, and I was so mad. I was so pissed that I got placed on the next to last worst team. And I saw that as a challenge to show the school like that the coaches had wronged me and had put me on the wrong team. And I had, by the end of that season, I had the most points and I think the most rebounds out of every team. I was scoring like 30 points a game,
Whoa.
between 20 to 30 points a game. I was getting a lot of double doubles and stuff like that, where I was getting at least 10 to 15 rebounds a game with 20 to 30 points.
Wow.
And
Shaq numbers.
Yeah, dude.
You're the Shaq of the B1.
I
So
know.
how did that work? So did you go against different tiers from other schools?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
the
I
other
was playing
B1
their
team-
B1 kids.
Got it.
And I was just like, what the, like, I was so pissed. I was like, okay, where you place me on this team. Okay. I'll show
You know
you.
who else was mad, dude? Those kids. They're like, what the hell is this kid doing in B1?
Oh no,
Like
of course.
he's dropping 30 a game. He should be up a level. Why is
Yeah,
he here?
of course. Yeah. They probably weren't thrilled with it either.
Yeah. They're like, Jesus, can we eat too? Just,
So
like,
the
dropping
gratifying
dunks.
thing was of that at the end of the season, my mom went up to the coach and she goes, "You put my boy on the wrong team, didn't you?" And the coach was like, "Yeah, we did."
Yeah, we did.
And another thing that was gratifying about that is I used to do the morning announcements at school, and we
Oh.
would read the high scores of the games of what happened last night, and I would read my own high scores to the school. One of the other kids would be like, "Do you want me to read for you?" I go, "No, I'm reading my own name. I'm saying my own record, like across the entire
Good for you. Yeah, let them know. Why not?
Yeah. I was
That's
like,
amazing.
Jeremiah Watkins had 32 points last night.
You should have said I had 30. Oh, in other news, I had 32 points last night. You did it in the third person.
I did it in the third person.
That's hilarious, man. Damn. Did you have any rivals like growing up in sports? Like anybody you were like competed against? Maybe some that made the A team that you were like, no way, I should have beat that person out.
Not so much. My really the driving factor was my brother and I were always like friendly rivals that put each other to be better at sports and stuff like that.
Yeah. Older or younger?
He was my older brother. So
okay. So
yeah. So he really motivated me to get good at sports because if I could beat him on a one-on-one, then I felt so good.
You're right. It's funny what motivates us early.
Yeah.
Just like my brother, I'm going to beat him, or, that coach. So that's funny. Now, you mentioned your mom. I saw your mom. Is she in the trailer for the special?
She is. I brought her up on stage for the trailer, for the special. She's in it. Yeah.
Yep, I saw her in it. She had some lustrous blonde hair. Is that where you get your blonde hair from, Mom?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's where I get my Goldilocks from. Yeah.
That's pretty cool that you're able to get her on the special and have her be a part of it. That's really fun.
Yeah, it's with my family in attendance. That was one of the reasons why I wanted to, because I had no idea that was going to happen. Actually, and I was like, I actually want to make a special out of this because there's no way that I'll be put in this predicament again. Like
Ever again.
won't. No, it will never happen again. It was a mistake that the club sat them like close to. They're like near the front of the stage where they're in my peripheral. During the show, and like I purposely, as you know, as a performer, you don't want to see family or friends anywhere near the front. You want to be in your own world, in
the zone. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So it was kind of a beautiful disaster that happened that I was like, I rolled with it and I was like, no, oh, this is actually great. The audience is getting to see me have mini meltdowns and it makes for a very enjoyable watch because you see something that's clearly not planned, but me rolling with it and making fun.
Which is the beauty of your comedy. I think, you're so adaptable and you just kind of, what's presented to you, you use, which I always enjoy. So, and when I watch you, so you said you didn't have a rival. You're motivated by your brother. What did your brother like? Was he tougher than you? Was he like a good athlete? Was he also a soccer and basketball guy?
He was, I would say that I ended up being a better athlete than him overall, but he was just one of those guys who I looked up to so much, like as a kid, where it didn't really matter after a point. It was still bros like competing. But he was a pretty good baseball player. I never played baseball, and he was a pretty good baseball player, and he was a solid basketball player, and those were his two main sports, were baseball and basketball.
What's the age difference between you two?
He's 3 years older than I am.
Okay. So not like, that's good. That's a good gap. Cause I think, you're not competing for the same friends or girls.
Yeah.
But there's still people know who he is and who you are.
Yeah.
You can still triangulate those things. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. So you switched from a private school to a public school. Did you do public school for high school as well?
Yeah. 8th through 12th, I was in public school.
Got it.
Yeah.
And did basketball throughout that.
So I got cut my freshman year.
Okay.
Which was devastating because like I had been playing basketball, like I've been playing basketball at the same time as soccer. So since I was a little kid, but I started taking it more seriously after that was off the table. So that was my main thing. And so I got cut my freshman year, and then I practiced so much, and I made the team my sophomore year.
Nice.
And that was a great, like, I remember, dude, freshman year, dude, when I got cut, I remember crying with my mom in her bedroom.
It's over.
Just
It's
like
the world's
flooding.
over.
Just
Yeah.
like because she knew how bad I wanted it. And that is the old, like, look at your name on the list kind of thing on the wall, and my name's not there. And it was just so brutal. And, but it was one of those teachable moments where it's like, okay, you gotta get to work, kid. Like, so I played, I'd go out and play for so many hours, all the drills and all that stuff. And so I had the team my sophomore year and I had a pretty good season. But my junior year, I made the mistake of I joined the football team. This was the first year that I played in high school. I joined my junior year of high school, which made 0 sense.
It's a weird choice. I'm not going to lie.
It's a very weird choice. I had played in 8th grade for a season, and then I played in my junior year because I was just being a class clown. I wanted to riff and hang out with buddies, but I knew that I wasn't good. You know what I mean? But because I did that, I wasn't taking the time in the off season to train.
Yeah.
And my game went down, and they said you're a very good player, but there's some sophomores that are right around your skill level, so we're going to cut you. And I was just like,
give them a chance. Yeah.
Yep, because it's one of those things where they're training you for JV and varsity, and by junior, if you're not already on JV, like I was on the sophomore team, I wasn't on the JV team sophomore level. If you're not already there, you're bound to get cut, like, anyway. So but it was one of those things where that was one of the huge reasons why I went full tilt into comedy, because I got another thing taken away from me that was my thing. And I had started to win awards at the state and national level, like for broadcasting and filmmaking around that same time.
Really? That's great.
So
That's
I
very
was
cool.
So I was like getting awards, and broadcasters, this could be your thing if you want it to be. Like, you have a natural talent for it. And I shift all energy, like making funny videos and stuff like that. And and they kept winning little awards, either like regional or state, and then there was a handful that started winning national, and which got me way more than I ever, like with sports, I'd never gotten to anything on the national level before. So I was like, oh, this is,
exciting. Yeah, I'm sure.
It was exciting. So yeah, it was kind of that shift. And I had wanted to be a doctor before that. That was one of the things that I was like, I wanted doctor or SNL, but I didn't think that SNL was a reality of like you as a kid, you don't know how to, it's a little box on a TV. You're like, I don't know how you get there. So my parents were like, you need to make good money. So I was like, a doctor? They're like, yeah, that's great. So my teacher that cut me was the anatomy and physiology teacher who happened to be the coach of the football team. So I was like, I'm freaking done with basketball. I'm freaking done with biology, anatomy, everything. I hate like all direct later, because I'm an extreme person as well. So I was just like, I'm freaking done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just like, I'm gonna switching gears.
Gears.
Well, thank God, because we need funny doctors, but I think you made the right choice.
I did make the right choice. I did.
Yeah. Did you ever injure yourself?
My mom is actually texting me right now.
Is she?
She is.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Tell her hello.
Hi from Ken. My dad's name is Ken. Hello.
Is it? Hi.
Yeah. Is your full name? Is full name Ken? My dad's full name is Kenneth.
I'm Kenneth.
You are a Kenneth.
And I'm a junior. I'm Kenneth Jr.
Ooh, okay.
I come from a Kenneth. My dad is also a Kenneth.
Nice.
Weird
stuff, dude.
And my dad was very, he kind of pushed the sports. He didn't pull me out of any. He just kept putting me into more sports. Yeah. So So that was fun because I think my ankles were ruined in my childhood.
You
My
played
ankles
football,
are.
right?
I was more of a soccer basketball guy.
What'd you play in soccer?
Fullback a lot of the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
My dad was the captain of his high school team, and then he played in college for Springfield College for a little bit. So big soccer guy. I wish I had been into it more while he was alive because I've become a soccer fan, but I switched from soccer to football in 8th grade, switched to Pop Warner, and kind of broke his heart a little bit, I think. I don't know. I don't think I did. I think he was proud because I was, you know me, I'm a short little man, and I played defensive line and did pretty well for a short little guy. So yeah, the last night he was able to, my father passed of inoperable brain cancer when I was a junior in high school. The last night he was ever out walking and talking with people before he had the issues with his motor strip, he saw me make a game-winning tackle in a game, which was really cool. So it was
That's amazing, dude.
Yeah, we were up 7-6, and this team scored late, and they decided to go for 2 for the win, and I got the guy low and stopped him. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, it's like a nice memory, of his last kind of time out in the world. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but I played a lot of soccer, a lot of basketball, but then as my body stopped growing.
Did you ever play indoor soccer?
No, but that looks so damn fun. And my brother played.
I think I actually prefer indoor to outdoor soccer. I loved indoor so much because coming from Kansas, that's literally what we do in the off season. So we were never off. We would just go to indoor because the winters are so harsh in Kansas City that I would go to 6 a.m. games where there was like snow on the ground and ice, and my mom would be driving me to play games and stuff, and it was fun, but it was a lot.
That's brutal. Yeah, and you're moving the least out of the whole team. You're just kind of standing and waiting for the action to come back to you. Yeah. So goalie's.
I remember, dude. You'll love this. I remember when the team was going from just a rec team to like the premier team, like there was tryouts.
Club.
Yeah, for the club. So, and I was a fearless goalie, so I had so many stops, but I was a chubby kid growing up.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I never would have guessed that. Dude, you seem like a naturally thin guy.
I ended up stretching out, but I was a little bit of a Pugsley as a kid.
A tank?
I was a little bit of a tank, and I was so fat and out of shape that when we were trying out for the premier side of the team, I started crying because I couldn't keep up with the kids. I was so like breathing hard. I was like, I can't do it.
And you're breathing heavy and crying.
Yeah. So I'm like having an asthma attack. My coach pulls me aside. He goes, "Listen, man." He goes, "Just calm down." He goes, "Just take a lap behind everybody else." He goes, "You're already on the team." He goes, "You're the best goalie we have." He goes, "But you got to go through the motions of this." And I calmed down, and then I did it, but I was so worried that I was going to get cut because I was like too fat from the for the team.
You don't see many fat goalkeepers in the pro level. I'm surprised, like you see fat quarterbacks.
Well, I've always had long arms, and I would always be down for a showdown. Like I would go out, like I would come out of the box, like I would come at people, and I remember getting I would come out like do the thing to try to lower the vision and everything, and I had a wide wingspan, and I would get kicked a lot by kids because they would wind up, and I would just go for it. I'd just keep like running, and I remember getting kicked like in the face multiple times and like in the stomach, and I would have bruises all over because they would wind up, and I was like, I don't care if you're winding up, I'm gonna get that ball, and they would kick me while I would jump on the ball.
Oh dang.
Yeah.
What's the worst injury you've ever had in sports?
All the stuff that I've done has been dumb stuff that was like adjacent to it. I mean, I broke my arm skateboarding. That was the only bone break I've had, but I've like sprained ankles and chipped teeth and different stuff from doing dumb stuff like adjacent to sports.
But never in a game, like a big injury.
Never in a game.
Nice.
Yeah, never in a game. Like I got a concussion from doing like a little act out, like a little scene that I was doing once at a church camp where they were singing the national anthem and we were gonna charge like the stand, like me and a couple other guys, and security was supposed to run out on stage and like throw us to the ground, and we didn't choreograph it enough, and so the guy was like, I'm gonna fake hit the ground next to your face, right? And he went one extra time than he told me he was going to, and I thought he was done. And I literally opened my eyes and leaned into him punching the ground, and his elbow went right into my nose, and I just started gushing blood, and it gave me a concussion.
In a church?
This is an outside church camp.
Outside church camp. Okay, so that was there's a bunch of other church.
It was like
children.
a softball game that was going on, basically.
Was everybody screaming, horrified? How was
they got me off and away from the crowd real quick because it looked horrible. They just saw somebody just like, get hit, and they're like, ugh. But I had it like all over my shirt. It was just like
if you get hit right, it'll just shoot out of there.
Also, if you get hit right, you have no control whether you cry or not. You just start crying.
It just cry. Yeah, your eyes.
I literally just start going. It was like instantly.
Are you an ugly crier?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's fun. Does
so I'm not like a sexy crier where I just have 2 tears slowly come out on like
a sexy crier.
Right.
You know what? I think in your future I have a prediction that you're gonna get so famous as a comedian. Someday you're gonna do the national anthem at a Chiefs game on saxophone. That's my prediction.
Ooh, that would be amazing. That'd be really fun. That would be really fun.
Do you have an all-time favorite Chief? Was it Derek Thomas? I thought you would like Derek Thomas. Was he a big fan of him?
Yeah, I mean, there was a hand. I mean, dude,
what about Elvis Gerback? Did you like Elvis Gerback?
I liked all the all the 90s guys. It didn't matter if they had a Chiefs jersey on, like
you were in,
the Schottenheimer days and all that stuff. Like I liked
Steve Bono.
Yeah, man. It didn't matter if they had a Chiefs jersey on. It's more like what it brought. It was always what the joy it brought my brother and my dad, and they're big Chiefs fans. Like I can call myself a fan, but like if I'm being completely honest, I'm more of a supporter of my hometown and like my brother and my dad. If we start bouncing around stats and stuff, I get lost like real quick. But I love like watching. Like I was watching the game on Sunday when I was in Texas. I was at a Chinese restaurant and I was watching the game. I was like, this is dope.
Yeah. Now you love basketball. Who did you root seeing that? I mean, the Kansas City Kings were a thing at one point, but do people in Kansas root for the Kings?
No, they don't, because it was so long ago. I've got a dope Kansas City Kings like 3/4 sleeve shirt with the original logo, and I almost want to buy more of that stuff because it's cool. Like it just looks dope. It's a cool logo that they had and everything. The closest team that we had, it could have been Denver. But I always just rooted for Chicago because growing up as a kid in the 90s, like,
sure. Yeah.
I mean, we just claimed they were like, it's close enough. That's our team. Like, so I had Bulls gear growing up. Like I had Bulls, I had a hat. I had, one of those original Bulls starters, half zip
starter.
jacket.
Yep.
And then I had this, I love this thing. The amount of hours that I played on this thing. I had a Chicago Bulls plastic, like a nice basketball hoop that was in my room that was like my dad nailed it in between the sliding wood closet door of the between the twin beds of me and my brother in our room. And the amount of one-on-one games and the games that we would play, like with that little hoop, like when a friend would come over, and dude, so fun.
We used to play with one of those, but we could only play on our knees. That was the rule. So we'd be on our knees basketball, and it was full contact, so you could tackle each other.
It was. Yeah.
And that was probably the most fun I've ever had playing basketball.
Did you get rug burns like crazy?
Terrible.
Yeah,
You'd have bloody knees, and of course, your parents are like, "Why are your knees all bloody from being over there every time?" Which, in adult hindsight, is a more serious thing than I thought as a child. Why is my son on his knees all the time at your house? Yikes. Anyway, yikes. Don't go there, huh? Family program. It's late. It's late, though. So talk to me a little bit more just before. I know we don't have a ton of time left, but what can people expect from this album? I know you said it's different. Like the family showed up. I watched the trailer. Actually, should we play the trailer? Matt, do we have the trailer? Can we watch that? I don't know if we might have lost him. He might have slept. All right, if he comes back, we'll try. Oh, there we go. Let's watch the trailer. Yeah.
Things aren't instant, Ken.
No, I'm sorry.
Things aren't instant.
I love you.
Jeremiah.
I'm sorry.
Thanks for
Thanks
for joining us.
Thank you
Matt,
for having
Jeremiah. This is Matt Fear.
That's
Matt Fear.
my Halloween name.
What's up, buddy?
Here's the trailer.
Let's watch it.
What? Baby, he is the best in the world.
Oh no!
What has happened? Don't look for that at any other stand-up show. Like, when is a family reunion happening at this stand-up show? This is not normal. This is a not normal show.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, there we go. That looks very fun. Now, this is coming out. You said, what's the date?
December 8th is when the video comes out, like the special on Amazon Prime and all that stuff, and then the audio side of things, December 11th.
And that will be on what, like iTunes? Or?
Yeah, Spotify, all that stuff. And the audio album has some extra bonus tracks that are not in the special that I couldn't fit quite in that hour. So the audio album is like an hour and 15 minutes worth of stuff.
Nice. And did you edit this yourself? Did you have some help, or who?
Our buddy Gage actually edited this. And
excellent.
He helped me edit this, and then I took the audio to a studio to get it properly mixed and mastered in Ventura called Archive Studios. Shout out to my buddy John Svaven. But yeah, shout out.
That's excellent. Yeah. So December 8th, which is the day after Pearl Harbor Day. So if you're all sad thinking about that day,
that's why
70
I
years
it,
ago, 70, almost 70 years ago, and it'll be 69. It's actually the 69th anniversary of Pearl Harbor the day before. So if you're into freaky sex and historical battles that change the course of history, and then you get sad, there's something to cheer you up the day after. This special. Anyway, thank you so much for coming on the show, man. I really appreciate you coming on and talking to us.
Of course.
I had no idea you were such a fat soccer star.
I know, dude. I know. What could have been my what if scenario in life?
Do you ever say to your dad, like, Dad, I could have been Tim Howard?
No, we never. I would hear my recollection of things. You know what I mean? How you build things up as a kid. I would be. He might be like, I didn't stop you from doing. You know what I mean? Like he might be like, I didn't do that. Like,
what are you talking about?
I'm pretty sure if I asked my mom, I think that she would say. I think she would agree with me. I should bring it up though. It'd be an interesting thing to be like, what is your recollection of why I stopped playing soccer?
Thanksgiving is coming up. Might be a fun conversation starter. Just for no reason, bring up difficult things from the past.
Yeah.
Just
Hey,
that are
just
completely
real quick, Dad. Can you just tell me how you remember me not playing soccer anymore?
Because I remember it that you stopped me from becoming a professional soccer player.
Yeah, I could have had scholarships and stuff like that, and it's fine. It's fine.
But luckily, it pushed you into Laughtown instead.
Yes.
Yes.
Now I'm running for mayor of Laughtown, and things are much better.
Well, I'm going to vote for you. Be sure you've got mine. Anyway, thanks for coming on the show, brother. I really appreciate it. You're one of the funniest guys out there. So this was nice of you to give us some time. And
Dude, of
we
course.
really
And I gotta tip my hat to you, dude. I love watching you, and I love watching the character work and stuff that I've seen you do. It's so freaking funny. And what I think how you and I kind of relate to each other is we both are really big on commitment and really big about seeing the bit through. So
Yes. Yeah.
I gotta give you a proper shout out as well. So I love watching you, dude.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Be sure to follow Jeremiah. He's at Jeremiah Stand Up on social platforms. Please follow him. He posts funny stuff all the time, funny clips, and he shoots a lot of them at my old place of business. So we want to support him because he's a great guy, and his wife's also. Your wife's great too. She does lots of. She does all this work with children using improv to teach kids and stuff. And worked with her a little bit when I first moved to Los Angeles. She's a wonderful person too. So best of luck to her as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, man. The stand-up show's coming out on the 8th. You heard it there. It's going to be on Prime. It's called Family Reunion. His name is Jeremiah Watkins. Thank you to my producer, the lovely, the talented Matthew Fear. I didn't screw up the feed this week, so he's happy with me. Coming to you from Arkansas. Next week, we will be in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, former home of the AAA Red Sox affiliate. We're now in Worcester. Anyway, love you, Mom and Dad. We'll see you all next week. Thanks, Matt. Love you guys. Bye.